No, but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisan's word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.,
no secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political men in it or not?
Oh, but you political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay. When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes to country, because many times you notice that
Charles Taylor is the problem. He will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye.
No, but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisan's word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.,
No secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political men in it or not?
Oh, but you political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay. When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete.
There wounded out first, all men on board.
So this riot situation when it comes to country, because many times you notice that
If Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the broadcast administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. To arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital road, small, road, B road, all kinds of in the place. I think the reason Joseph Baga will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
So welcome to the closing argument show on Truth 96.1. For those of you who following us live on the closing argument page and other pages that are relaying alongside Kia Radio, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, based on your location, whatever you're watching us live from. I would like to say welcome to the closing argument show. So, like I said earlier on yesterday, that our usual host, who is Mr. Jerome Gayman, is not here. So he's on his way back to Africa from the States. So he won't be able to continue the show. But howbeit, whenever someone drops, another person there to replace. So I'm here. I'm always here to bring you the closing argument show. So whatever you are following us from, I will appreciate if you keep sharing the show. I will be joined by Dr. Peabody, Mr. Sylvester Pewee, Chiefs in Tomalin George, and the rest of the folks. They are hurrying up from their various working places, going back home to get prepared for the closing argument show. So before they come on, we'll have some of our folks there from the Children's Voices, or they are all members of the ECOWAS Parliament, where on tomorrow they will be having a program at the Orange Digital Center around the Congotown area. So they will come on to give us some information on how this entire Children's Voices program is going to be held on tomorrow. So just in a few minutes from now, they will come on. So let me see how I can welcome some of our listeners, our viewers who are just joining us. So today is the weekend, so we won't go for that long. So it's because of you, the Liberian people. It's because of everyone. We are here today to inform the public, to inform the Liberian people about the daily happening in our country after running around from one place to another, from one ministry to another, from one agency to another, from one event to another. In the evening, come back, get prepared for news and also for the radio. So once again, it's my pleasure to be here, give you some updates, some information to our pimping riders, our motorcyclists, our market women, all of you out there. I do appreciate you. It's because of you I'm here, and also it's because of me you are also out there listening to what are some of the information we are going to give you, because it's the media that help to promote, it's the media that help to destroy our country. So like people will say, whatever you wish for, that's exactly you are going to get. So if we wish bad for our country as a media practitioner, we are not going to see a positive result, neither we are not going to see any positive things coming out of our country. So we all have to come together as one people. We all have to come together. Like the people have the saying that says, once a Liberian, always a Liberian. So it is from that backdrop that everyone will have to come together to see how best they can push our country, whether you're from Nima, whether you're from Maryland, whether you're from Grand Bassa, whether you're from Lofa, you're from Magibi, you're from Bon, you're from Bomi, whether you're from Bapolu, Sino, River G, Grand Gile, whether you are from River Cess, if you are there from Mosrado, if you are there from all of the 15 counties within Liberia, I would like to say a hands up to every one of you there. This is our country. So we all have to come together to develop our country. So it is an honor and privilege that we come together in terms of good or bad things. Because if you look out there to other countries, there are a lot of folks, there are a lot of countries out there like Ukraine and Russia, they are still fighting war. So if we as a country, even though we are a developing country, we are not like the others who are well developed, have all of what they want, but then there's no peace. So if we see ourselves to be a developed country or a country that is developing, and then we have a peace, I think it is something that we should be happy about. Because people will say other countries, they have all of the resources, they have all of the opportunities, they have almost everything. But yet and still, they are not peace. They are not at peace. They are going through difficulties. So at times, if you see your people, if you wake up in the morning, you see your country, everywhere is quiet. And then you just hear that, oh, there's other person saying this one, that one. But the issue or the reality is, you wake up in the morning, you can find something to eat. You wake up in the morning, you are not running from one place to another. You wake up in the morning, you are not seeing anyone pointing gun at your head, or you are not seeing anyone running after you. You are living a peaceful life. There are some people in this country, whether government go, government can't, they don't have time, they don't care. What they care about is just for them to see themselves alive for the next day. So if we as a Liberian come up to see this country peaceful, I think it is a plus for us. We have to come together to support each other. If you have your little business, if you have your little things that you are doing, and you want for the media to support you, just invite us. We are going to provide our coverage or whatever that means to help you to help you. We can do that. It doesn't matter. It's just the matter of cooperation, how you respect the people, and how you work in your space. But there are some people that they respect the media, or because of some other political reason, or because they have some financial hand, so they respect people. But I will tell you for free, we are as Liberians, whether you have the money or not, there's a respect you give to some people. It doesn't matter whether they are rich or poor, but you give them that respect because of what they deserve, because of what you see in them, or because they deserve that respect. So, like I said earlier, we are going to bring the folks from the Children Voices. They are going to discuss some of the activities they've been doing, and then also to throw light on their program for tomorrow. But I'll be joined by Mr. Sylvester Pewee, Chief Tomalin George, Dr. Henry Peabody, and the rest of the folks there. They are hurrying up to get him to come on the show. So I think one of the organizer or the executive is in the back. Let me see where I can bring him on. He's Joe Ray. So are you there, Joe?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Sure.
Okay. Welcome to the Closing Ackman Show. I guess this is your first time, right?
This is my first time, yes, and do appreciate for this opportunity given to me to appear tonight.
Okay, so you can better introduce yourself for our listeners. We are live on Truth FM Care Radio, and then we are live on the Closing Argument page. You can just better introduce yourself, and then maybe for the people who are watching you, the lighting system, if you can increase it a little bit so that they can know who they are watching. Yeah, but you can introduce yourself, who is Joe, and then we can go further.
Okay. 1 minute, please.
Okay, so before he comes on, if you are just junior, you can just share the show, whatever you are watching us live from. My name is Myean B. Torgbean. I'm here to bring you the Closing Argument Show. I'll also be joined by the other folks there from the Closing Argument. So I will be joined by the executive from the Children Voices. Like I was saying, this is our country. We have to promote each other. Whenever you see your friends doing something positive, like if you had the opportunity to listen to some of the panelists from the Liberia Diaspora Return conference at the Eddie Johnson Salif Ministerial Complex, you take a lot of things home, because we all as Liberians, if you have an opportunity and then you see it necessary that you can bring young people on board, why not? It's not only about you taking your family members. It's not about you taking some relative, but at least be able to take other people from out there who can be able to come on board and be a breadwinner for their family. Where if you take your family member and then you have the hand already, taking your family member to bring them on board again, it's the same family. Even though it's empowering another person or another young person, but with the kind of need that other people out there, other family are in need of, they won't get that opportunity. So I encourage you, if you have a businesses, if you have an area, whatever you think you can create job for young people, you can put up vacancy, put up application, invite young people. There are a lot of young people who are out there seeking for job opportunity. but they cannot have, because some of them would think like probably maybe I'm not going out there to see a job opportunity. I'm not going out there to see where people have the opportunity, or some others will say before you get job you have to get some connection. It is true. It's true, because you cannot sit home from morning to night, just fold your hand between your legs, and then expect yourself to get opportunity, or expect yourself to see people give you job. It won't happen. So as a young person, you have to move out. As a young person, you have to stretch your hands. So if we see young people out there making headway, making so many things, other young people will feel a little bit jealous, wondering how that person were able to get that job, or how that person were able to maneuver their way in between to get to that area. But they don't know how that person struggle. So some people will see you living your life, they just think that everything is just gold, diamond, just got everything on the silver plateau. It's not possible. There are a lot of people, they pass through so many difficulties before they could get to where they are today. Many people, if some people explain their success story to you, you won't believe it. So some people will sit there and say, yes, and this person just play a magic and then they get to where they are. If some people explain their stories to you, how they suffer, how they pass through so many difficulties to where they are today. That's why you see the people who born in the 50s, the 40s, the 60s. Some of them, if you sit around them, they start to narrate some of their stories to you. That's why they always say the young generation, they are not working, or they are not seeing how best they can push themselves or to work for something to earn it themselves. They just want to see people with something, or they just want to see you at that position where they think that they just want to be there at that moment, but they don't know how you got there. They don't know how things were difficult. They don't know, but they just want to see you and then say yes. That's why I see some young people on the street begging. It pains me a lot, because as a young person, you see yourself, even though everyone are not the same to have the opportunity to go to school. Yes, it is true. But there are a lot of people out there who, like the young men, there are a lot of people out there who are doing trade. You can put yourself into trade, you can be able to get something for tomorrow. Right now, if you come out of high school, it's not everyone will have the opportunity to get a job. Even at the university level, we have some of our brothers, our sisters who went out of the country, did international studies. They came back to the country, cannot have the opportunity to work. They don't have the space. Some of them will just end up doing maybe probably a helper, or just to be after politician from one offices to another with fire, brown fire, or folder in their hand, from one offices to another, carrying letters, writing proposal. And one of the things I observe is that none of these government officials or lawmakers, they don't believe in what you call proposal. So if you carry a proposal to them, they won't take it serious. So the folks there from the Children Voices, if you guys are ready, you can just let me know so that I can bring you on. But until then, we will just continue our discussion. Endurance and Joe, if you're ready, just let me know. So if you see some of them, the right proposal to you, lawmakers, not many lawmakers will value it because some of them just see it to be like, or too many writings. They won't take that time to go through it. That's why you see if the budget is passed, if you look at them out of the 73 lawmakers that is in the House, also representative, you won't see out of 100%, you won't see even 85 or 75% to read that budget, to understand whatever that is in it. So some of them, they will just listen to some of their colleagues, say, oh my man, yeah, I take this one, I agree on this one, and say yes. That's why there was a video training last night when they agree on that company deal where all of them, yes to all, just like that. That video was training because some of them, they were just on their phone. When they call your name, you bend down your phone. When they call your name, you just say, oh, yes, just like that. Not many of them were paying attention. So these are some of the things that I think our young people need to pay attention to as a young person. Focus. So maybe Joe and Doris, you can open your camera so that I can bring you on. Your camera is closed, so you can just open the camera up so we can bring you guys on for the show. So until we are with them, I'm seeing 4 persons in the back. So if you guys are ready, just open up your camera and then mute your mic until I bring you on. So some of them won't pay attention. They will just sit and then see whatever people agrees upon. They just say yes, we agree. But if you ask some of them these critical questions, why did you agree? Why did you say yes? They won't tell you their reason. Some of them will just backslide the questions and just tell you that because of this, because of that, and just point out a few reasons that wouldn't be tangible or that would not fit what they agree on. But you just see them, they say, yeah, I'm representing the people of this district, I'm representing the people of this county. But the real representation, they are not showing it out. So these are some of the things that our people need to take note of, our young people that are coming up. There are a lot of things needs to be worked on. So I think, let me see if I can bring the folks on. I'm seeing Joe, I'm seeing Joe Fidio, I'm seeing the other folks there. So if you can open up your camera, then I think it will be necessary for the followers. So how are you doing? If you are muted, you can just open your mic. So Brother Joe, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so you can just tell the other folks to just open up their camera. If they are not around, currently you can just leave your camera off until you get to a place where, but it's encouraging that you just open up your camera. So you can just introduce yourself and then tell us who is Joe, and then just tell us about the children voices. Are you hearing me? Joe, you are not coming in. I'm not hearing you. So if you are not, check your phone up.
Yes, I think I'm clear now, right?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay. So my name is Torgbean. I'm the executive director of Voice of the Voiceless. And
Okay.
I think, yeah, Voice of the Voiceless, I think those who want like endurance and Phil will also introduce themselves to us well, or you want me to introduce them to us well?
Yeah, so they can just better introduce themselves and then we can go further. So endurance, you can just introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Endurance Times, and I'm the current speaker of Children's Voices on the Voice of the Voiceless.
Okay, so I think we have Jophidia, and then so Jophidia, are you there? Jophidia? Okay, so until we are with the others, so you can just tell us what is all about this Children's Voices you are part of. Hello, are you guys
Are you
hearing me?
asking me? Are you
Yeah, I'm
asking me all
asking you. I'm
endurance?
asking you. Any of you
Okay,
can answer,
so
any of you.
okay, I think before even endurance could come in, let me talk a brief bit about voice of the voice, or what voice of the voice is all about, and before endurance come in to talk a bit of Jophilia or Phil. So, Voice of the Voiceless is actually a youth-driven organization that was actually established to help boys and girls know their right and responsibility. Since we have been operating this program over the past 7 years, we have actually been engaged working with schools. Voice of the Voiceless is working with over 40 high schools across Montserrat, and we are into education, into health, agriculture, and advocacies. And under the education, what we do, we organize debate, mentorship program for young people to multitask their mind, make them busy, and to just keep them busy doing something that is meaningful for them. And since we started this program, there have been series of institution. There have been series of schools that we have been working with. We have a social club that it is called a welfare club. And the essence of this club is to hear from young people the issue of sexual gender-based violence, abuse of young people in various schools, how young people can be able to speak out when they are abused, where the procedure to follow. They are trained in a way that if he or she is abused, they know exactly where to report issues. So since we came up with this program, under the advocacy arm is where we decided to fund this radio program at ECOWAS Radio, where we give young people the opportunity to speak out, to invite stakeholders, sit with those young people to discuss issues relevant to their well-being. And I will not talk more about it. Jophilia or endurance will talk more because they are the ones who are basically involved with the advocacy arm. And then for the agriculture, what we do is introduce school garden club, where we introduce young people about the importance of agriculture. Why is it important for young people to get involved into agriculture? Or why is it important for young people to do backyard garden? Because knowing fully the fact that our country, Liberia, where nowadays to see young people who are fully involved in activity, or you don't get the interest of young people being involved into agriculture. As organization, we encourage young people to get involved with agriculture, backyard garden, meaning that eat what you grow or grow what you eat. That's exactly what we do when it comes to the agriculture aspect of Voice of the Voiceless. And for the health, we basically create awareness in community. We also get young people themselves involved, creating awareness in various schools, and we train them to become ambassadors in their home, their community, and etc. And for the education, I think I talked a brief about it, organizing debate, and we believe that debate is basically about moving the mind of young people to keep them basic research and all those things. Mentorship program. So our mentorship program, we normally run it after every 3 months, where we train young people how to do chloride, soap making, and how to save how to serve or how to become a leader in their communities of Mama Liberia tomorrow. And basically, that's what we have been doing as an organization, and we have been operating for 7 years now since we have been working. And I think I have to wait and Jophilia or Endurance could talk basically about the advocacies. And under the advocacy, there have been series of activities that we have been doing or implementing to ensure that young people mind are really make up in terms of change. So Jophilia or Endurance could be the one to talk about the advocacy when it comes to the voice of the voiceless.
So Endurance, you just add up to this question about why is it all about children voices?
Okay, so thank you. I think he basically explained that children voices falls under the advocacies arm of Voice of the Voiceless Liberia. So children voices basically is a radio show that come every Saturday on ECOWAS Radio, where we discuss issues affecting children, how we can stop it, how we can put an end to it, issues like drug abuse, child labor, and basically just children related issues. So Children Voices main goal is to discuss those issues every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m., find solutions from there. And then we go to various schools and holds their trainings to educate young people, specifically under the age of 18. So Voice of the Voiceless as a whole is open to anybody, but for the advocacy arm, which is Children Voices, it's basically just students below the age of 18 or above the age of 13. So that's our main focus. We educate those children on their rights, their responsibilities, what they are to do and what they are not supposed to do. We bring them together. We find partnership with various people like the Liberia National Police, where we host training for them, and basically just things that involve youth, which our training that we recently just hosted, our 2 months training that we just hosted on media education and sexual gender-based awareness. So it was a 2 month training hosted by Children Voices on the Voice of the Voiceless, educating young people on the awareness of social media, how they can use it positively, and then fostering the talents of young people, because there are people who there are children who have talent, but they haven't identified that yet. So now our role and responsibility is to bring those children on board, teach them how to identify their calling or their talent, bring experts that are able to train them, and basically we give them the stage. So the training was hosted for 2 months, which just ended, and the graduation is this coming Saturday. Yes, which is tomorrow. So I think that's one of the basic updates about Children Voices. It's just a children related platform that they seek the awareness and social protection or emotional protection of children and their well-being. So that's basically just Children Voices, and we also partnership with various children organizations to like the Liberia Children Forum. We have the Children Parliamentary Forum, Ministry of Gender. We've been working with the Ministry of Gender. Recently, we started working with the Liberia National Police, and we also been working with a few other radio stations like Echoes Radio, Truth FM, yes, and okay FM. So that's what we've been into. That's Children Voices. And the president of Children Voices is Mr. Claire Pewee. I'm just the speaker of Children Voices. Yeah. So that's the basic updates about children's voices. Thank you.
Okay, so basically, people would like to know when and why was Children Voices established.
Can you come again, please?
I said people would like to know when and why Children Voices was established, on what basis, or when was Children Voices established.
Oh, okay. So Children's Voices was basically established in the year, I think, 2023. And the main essence that this organization was established because Voice of the Voiceless as a whole was just a big organization where people come. But then as we started to go, you will see that in certain meetings, you will have children, you will have adults, and you can just understand that children and adults don't really blend in that much. And then for the part of advocacy, we found that we just thought that children would be better at advocating for their fellow young people, and that's how the thought came about when at that time I wasn't voiceless. I was just a member voiceless. So when Mr. Benny started the inner team about children voices, it was basically just for the advocacy arm of Voice of the Voiceless. So he had this idea that for the advocacy arm, since we already have somebody at the education arm, the health arm, and the agricultural arm of Voice of the Voiceless. He just because at first the advocacy arm and education was blend together. So when he was speaking about the mentorship program and stuff like that, it was combined with the awareness. So instead of making it combined, he just had this idea of separating it and then taking children from in various schools. So it was through the debate. We hosted one of our debate. It was really wild, and basically the school that performed well, we started to work with them. So Shophelia happened to be one of the debaters, and the other children was the other children were one of the debate were some of the debaters that participated in Voice of the Voiceless debate. So when he brought them on board to start working, because by that time I was already on the birth Voice of the Voiceless, he just had the thought that, oh, if these children can stand out in a debate to defend issues like this in our nation, to defend issue against like female genital mutilation, against rape, then it's a nice time that they are able to become advocates of peace or advocates of children rights. So it was through then that he started to work with all the debaters from across the school, some of the best students, and he somehow formed something called the inner team, which of course I think Trufila was the head at that time. Yes, and she's still the head. So it was the inner team that was formed for the main purpose of advocacy. So I think that's how the whole children voice started, and then from the inner team they started to recruit people because by that time I wasn't part of the inner team. I was just a member of the Voice of the Voices. I was over the debate committee by that time. So after he told me about the inner team, that's when I started to create something like interest in it. They had a training to recruit new members because the space of vice presidency was vacant by that time. So yeah, that's how the whole Children Voices started with the purpose of children advocating for children.
Okay, so we yet to see the other folks to come on. So maybe probably you are the one who will answer most of the question. Maybe if some of them come on, then we'll just throw light on a few of the questions that we have already asked. But You kept mentioning the name Children Voices, Children Voices. So people would like to know if this name Children Voices, how it came about, what inspired this name, and is it just a sub name, or the organization have its own name?
Okay, so Children Voices, as I stated earlier, Children Voices falls under Voice of the Voiceless. So the general organization is Voice of the Voiceless. But for the advocacy department, it's called Children Voices. I don't know how the name came about because the name was, I think, structured by the inner team at that time, which of course I wasn't part of the leadership. So the name Children Voices came about when they discussed how they were going to be going on the radio, probably when they started from Radio Maria. So it was, at the time it didn't have it never really had a name. So the name was just given to be something like separate or something like an offspring of Voice of the Voiceless. So the name, I don't remember who gave the name. I don't remember how the name came about, but it was given by the inner team and Mr. Torgbean. It was a meeting that they decided the name.
Okay,
Yeah.
so currently you are also a member of the organization, and then you sure know maybe the mission objectives of this organization. So do you care to tell us the main mission of Children Voices?
The main what?
The main
The
mission,
mission?
the mission of the group or the organization.
Okay. The main goal of Children Voices is basically helping children understand their rights and responsibilities. We as Children Voices or Voice of the Voiceless, we believe that we are the ones to speak for issues affecting people who are not able to speak for themselves. We don't just want to speak for children, for that matter. We want children to speak for themselves. So we provide a platform for children to speak for themselves. That's one of the mission or one of the goals of Children Voices, to give children the space to express themselves, because it will be more realistic when a child is explaining what he or she goes through than for an adult to explain it. So that's the main reason why children voices were created, because we just didn't want the adults of voice of the voiceless to talk on children related issues. We wanted children themselves to talk on issues that are affecting them. So the main goal of Children Voices is to help children speak for themselves, number one, help them understand their roles and responsibilities, number two, and then making them understand their rights and responsibilities, or creating a safe space for children. Yes.
I think you are muted, so
Yeah, I think
but
I'm done with the explanation.
oh, okay, okay. I wasn't hearing you anyway. But it's okay. So, do you care to tell us the number of schools you are currently working with?
Okay. Currently, Voice of the Voiceless is working with over 40 schools in Montserrado County. We haven't extended beyond Montserrado yet. And out of those 40 schools, we have a level of connection there. But Children Voices has a solid response or solid relationship with probably 20 high schools currently in Montserrado County, schools that we can guarantee that yes, we have influence in this school. But generally, we are working with over 40 schools in Montserrado, doing things like our debate, our mentorship program. Just basically any of our programs, we have like 40 schools, over 40 schools like that.
we were just joined by one of our CEO, Dr. Peabody. Is on. So, Dad, welcome to the show.
Good to see everybody. Good to see Endurance Times. What is Endurance Times?
She's a member of the Children Parliament here. So tomorrow will be their program. So we were just discussing on few of their activities from the Children Voices. Tomorrow they will be graduating over 30, I think 36 or 39 students from the Children Parliament. So
wow.
Basically, yeah, we're just discussing. We have over 4 of their colleagues were on, but due to the internet in Liberia, they are fluctuating.
Well, the internet was bad.
Yeah, she's the only one on.
The Children Times, you said the graduate from the Children Parliament, right?
Yes.
So what is the Children Parliament? What is that? I mean, what age group makes up the Children Parliament?
Okay, so the Children Parliament is another name that people can cut it, but for our organization, it's called Children Voices.
Children Voices.
So, yeah, Children Voices. Yeah, so Children Voices is an advocate-based organization that falls under Voice of the Voiceless, which is the general organization that focuses on the rights and responsibilities of children.
Okay.
So it's like a radio program where we children come and explain issues that are affecting us, how we can minimize it, and just basically explain about our rights and explain to people why children go through and how we can put a stop to issues like drug abuse, child labor, just basically children related issues. So that's what Children Voices is about. It's an advocacy organization specifically between the age ranges of 13 years to 18. So it's basically just for children. Yeah.
So what kind of engagement you guys have had so far in terms of advocating for people? What kind of advocacy have you done so far?
So we have done a lot of events, or we have had a lot of advocacies in the case of drug abuse, wherein we interview students, we interview our peers, and then we bring them on board to us to come on the radio and discuss issues that are relating to them. And then we have also been working with schools. So we work with over 40 schools in Montserrat where we do awareness on various issues like drug, child labor, teenage pregnancy, and then we do interviews in those schools. We go in the community and interview people, ask young children why they are not going to school, take those reports, see what we can do, bring them on board at some point. We have like some students who weren't actually in school, but through the help of some people in the organization, they were able to link them with bigger organizations that can give them funds. Like one of our partners, which is the Remy Screen. So Remy Screen have been helping some of our students. So we bring the students on board, and then when we cannot handle the financial issue, we transfer them to a bigger organization. So Remy Screen has been helping some of our students with tuition. And then we have also been involved in different shows. So we go on radios to talk on issues that are affecting children currently, especially the issue of child labor, teenage pregnancies, assaults, and just basically, so our work just to make children speak for themselves or speak for other children. So we don't want adults We don't want adults talking about issues affecting children, because we believe that when children are given the stage themselves, it's going to be better explained and very much relatable. So we have been involved in a lot of advocacy at times, and recently we just joined forces with the Liberia National Police, and we wrote a letter to the office of presidency because we are about to launch our resource center, which is going to be a great help to Liberian children. So we are expected to have a meeting of the president soon. That's another engagement. Another engagement is with the Liberia National Police, and then ECOWAS Radio, the Ministry of Gender. We have a really close relationship with the Ministry of Gender, wherein we also work with the Children Parliament that Myean was making mention of. So the Children Parliament is another children-based organization. It's also called the Children Forum. Yeah, so that one is on the national level, which our president Truphilia for Children Forces is serving as secretary for the national level in Liberia. So that's another engagement we have had with the Ministry of Gender. There are programs like the World Children Day. I was the MC there. We explain about organization and just basically anything that have to do with children, we are involved with it.
Oh, incredible. Incredible. You say a lot of good things. You say a lot of things that really affect children and really you guys doing. So tell me, how you guys funded? Do you guys have who support you guys, and how do you guys have the means of going places and trying to do all these advocacies? How do you guys do it?
Okay, that's a really nice question. So since we've been funded, we have our executive director, which is Mr. Torgbean. We don't really have like financial support from people, but we have people that we are collaborating with. So there was this one time when we just started the Children Voices, when we used to talk on ECOWAS radio. Luckily for us, there was this doctor from the United States of America. His name is Dopoh. He was suddenly interested in our speeches, how eloquent we were on the radio, and he became one of our partners. So sometimes when we are in trainers positions like that, especially for this training, he has been a big help to Children Voices. He's one of our supporters who has been helping us. And then we also have a lot of supporters which help us socially. They help us with sometimes materials for financial aspect. We don't really have a strong supporter. So most of the time our transportation is more like a volunteering work. It's more like a volunteering work. If our parents don't have it, our CEO virtual, Mr. Torgbean, will sometimes screen himself to try to get us it, because it's not mostly about the money, it's about the passion. But we have a few supporters. Recently, we just got involved with the Liberia National Police, but it's not on a financial level. That's just the main idea. We have people like from Ministry of Gender, from other big organizations, but we have plan, but it's not really financial. So not the financial part, just moral support, social support and stuff.
So you on here today, what kind of message you want to send out there to the people?
So what I would say to the world today, or anybody watching, is that I feel like children-related organizations such as Children Voices needs to be promoted. So if we are able to, if we as a country are able to promote things that elevate the rights and responsibility of children, I believe we can have a better tomorrow where children are free to express themselves, because it's the lack of expression that are giving many children away. It's the lack of explanation, or maybe I would say expression of what's inside of children that makes them go astray, do things out of the way. So I think as a country or as a world, we should create a child-friendly environment, and we hope to work with any partner listening to us. We really want to partnership with people. We want financial support, moral support, social support, just anything that you can do to make the rights and responsibilities of children to be heard. So that's my message today to Liberia and the world at large. Let us promote children-related issues in order to secure a child-friendly environment.
That's a very strong, very, very powerful message. You guys are presenting out there. I believe people need to get this. I mean, especially as young as you are already in the advocacy area. You're advocating to help people, young children like yourself, who are going through different circumstances and challenges, and all to get the message out there. I think people need to hear your message. People need to listen. I think we need to bring you back on one of these days so you can actually can talk more about this. So endurance, that's your name?
Yeah.
Endurance is, it takes a lot to do this. A young lady like you, and to really, and your team, I'm gonna give you guys kudos, and hopefully we'll be good to bring you guys back. I would love to bring you guys back so we can talk about this. We'll probably go through Myean, and Myean will connect us to bring us back so we can talk to you. But I want to encourage you on what you're doing. Let me ask you, what are some of the basic needs of your organization?
Can you say that again?
What are some of the things that your organization needs so right away?
Okay, currently we need more public safety, number one. Two, we need an office space as children voices. And just another thing we need is financial support, because as of next year, we plan to effectively start our next year routine from school to school awareness and those basic educational or advocated things that we can do for children to bring more children on board to speak for themselves. So we need financial support, we need an office space, and we need publicity to make sure that children across Liberia voices are heard, that we are heard, and we want people to know children's voices so that we can have a child-friendly environment in Liberia where children are not silent.
Wow, that is incredible. That's incredible. You know, welcome, Mr. Nagbe.
Thank you, Dr. Peabody. Endurance.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you, Myean. I know that you want to come in. I think she's almost leaving. I was really rushing to come and get on here before your departure just to say thank you. I don't have a question. I just want to commend you, for starting your advocacy, at an apparently very young age. And it sounds like you're doing a lot. So I really appreciate what you do. I want to thank you and the team. I saw two of your colleagues come on earlier briefly, and then, they left. So thank you very much, and all the best.
Endurance, yeah. We are going to find a time to bring you back. We do need people like you, especially that are out there and advocating for a younger generation like yourself. Younger people like yourself. We need you, and we will try to bring you back, and maybe one of these days bring you back and see what we can do in terms of just raising minimum funds to help you guys as you do your work. I think I'm very much interested in what you guys do. So we'll be in touch with Myean, uh, so we can really bring you back on. I would love to bring you back on maybe the beginning of sometimes in January, like a Monday or Tuesday. So when the others are here, we can have that conversation. But you're a really brave young lady, and I encourage you. We're gonna definitely keep you in heart. I'll keep you in mind to bring you back. But thank you for coming up, and thank you for sharing with us. So we're gonna put this down. We're gonna be back in touch with you soon. But any last message, anything you want to say before?
Okay, thank you so much for having me here today. I really appreciate the fact that you guys acknowledge the work that we do. And as you acknowledge this, I really hope that Liberia as a whole start to promote children related issues and focus on organizations that promote the well-being and the rights of children. I'm Endurance. I'm 16 years of age and I just graduated high school. There are children out there who are a lot younger than me who are out of high school, but the stage is not given to them. They are not given the platform to express themselves. So I think what I have to tell the public tonight is please let us give children the space, children the stage, because if children are given the stage to talk, trust me, I know what happens. It becomes so great that even adults start to give them applause. So please let's create a Liberia where children rights are not silenced and then they are able to speak for themselves. Because once children are able to speak for themselves, trust me, there will be a limited race of teenagers getting involved in extracurricular bad activities like drug abuse, teenage pregnancies, and stuff like that. So please join us, join Children's Voices. Let us help educate children on their rights and also their responsibilities so that they do not go astray. So thank you. I think that's my last word.
Thank you. And
sorry, Doc. I'm sorry. Which high school did you graduate from?
Christ the King Catholic High School.
That's on the Oro, or no?
Yeah, Congo Town.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
So I just wanted to commend your teachers as well. You speak very well.
Yeah.
16, just came
Thank
out of high school. Absolutely. Tell your teachers that they did a wonderful job. Congratulations. And
then I also learned public speaking from Voice of the Voiceless. So I was a really shy person. When I was in the 10th grade in Christ the King, that's when I got involved in advocacy. And fortunately for me, through Voice of the Voiceless, I entered debate, and that's how I was able to speak so well. So thank you so much.
That's amazing. You the clarity in your voice, your messages and things like that. So, but rest assured that we'll definitely bring you back, and in our little way, anything we can do, we're definitely gonna help you guys. I really, really, really have you guys. You guys have become something very special, special interest to me. So we'll see what we can do, and
all the best. Kick a little fundraiser while you guys are here, and see if can get people to contribute to your cause.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna do that. I can assure you, we'll do it. In the next few weeks, we'll try to do it and bring you guys on. Maybe y'all can go into the studio with Myean and then do the show from there because of the internet. And let's do it. But you guys are incredible people, and people got to hear the voice of the young people. It's very important. So you guys need to come back as long as you can to come back, and every time tell if you guys have a very special message at a certain time you want to put across, let Myean know. We'll bring you guys on, and you can get that message across. All right.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the welcoming statement.
Thank you, Endurance. Thank you, Endurance. Also, and have a great weekend. I know it's late for you, but have a great weekend, and you definitely gonna hear from us. Myean will let you know on the next time. All
Okay,
right.
you too.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you guys for having me today.
All right. Bye bye. So, well, Mr. Nangwe, Gayman is not here. Sylvester should be coming.
Okay.
I should be running to a Christmas program right now. Otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble and then come back. So you and Myean will have to run this. Or Sylvester will be back in the next 15 minutes. So you and Myean will have to run this until I come back. I got to go for my son's Christmas party. I mean, his Christmas play, which is starting in about 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So I'll be back right after the play. So it's all yours, sir.
All right, man. Safe travels there, and regards to the family.
All right, sir. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Myean, what's up, young fellow? I know you've been here. You already probably gave the update. I heard. And I was between listening to the show and doing stuff, so I missed some of your reporting. But how are you?
I'm doing good, Mr. Nagbe. It's a pleasure being here to share the platform with you once again.
Okay. All right. The guys will come in and we'll go into detail. But did you talk about the president press briefing today at LBS?
Yes, so the president had a wonderful interview today at the Liberia Broadcasting System, where I was opportune to cover that event.
Okay.
So there are a lot of things that were mentioned by the president, and then other folks took it as a way of informing the public or reflecting on some of the issues that he stressed, where he did mention that he rejected the claim over the FOIA housing project, where he mentioned that maybe people who are carrying rumors around that this project is being claimed that this project is about his retirement area, where he, after the presidency, he'll be able to go and retire. So the president said this housing unit in Afoya is intended to serve the people as the ECWAS or the MRU area, personal area, where it is reserved for or peacekeeping, where people live from other countries, like the president from Africa will come to Liberia, the president from maybe Ghana will come to Liberia, the president from Sierra Leone, when there was is like an issue about baby crashing in the country, they'll be able to come to reside there, but not for a personal gain, because he has a lot of property, he has lived to a home area for over 44 years now. So he cannot deserve a property that is not for him, but rather things that he have worked over the years for. So that one of the things I stress on. So people saw that issue. So maybe if we can go into it one by one, or if I can just say out, I don't know how you see it.
Okay. Let's do it one at a time. I watched the replay of the conference, and what you said exactly. What he said. Before I get to the project itself, I heard the president report Liberia say, he inherited corrupt people in the government, and these people, their tenure, and he tried to get rid of them. They went to court, and the court said, they should put them back. And I was just, I don't know, maybe maybe it's my lack of understanding of the process. But this president, it was the administration. Sylvester, welcome, my brother. It's good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, he was a part of. It was his administration that he was vice president in that actually, put most of these tenure laws into place. He should know there is an antidote for that, right? You don't just go and fire the people. There is a process, right? You go and repeal the law, and then you make the adjustment. So I was confused by that he would talk the way he did. I would really, I would have expected a much more nuanced, a much understanding of the process. But I don't think the president, the way he spoke today, it didn't sound to me like he understands the process. I don't know, Sylvester, did you watch any of the president's appearance at LBS today? Did you watch something?
Unfortunately, no. But I started going through the clip. Basically, there was some bite, if I will put it that way, going through it. But most of what I listened to today, I thought we got some. We headed for some problem.
Yeah.
And and I thought we headed for some problem.
Let me open up. First of all, let me open up by appreciating though on a good note. I think I was very excited when I saw the president finally sit down for over an hour and talk to the press. Whoever advised him to do that, I think that president deserves some commendation. I think the president should do this more often. Talk to the people, tell them what it is you're doing. And so I just want to commend them for doing that today. And then, let's talk about what he did. So I'm sorry I had to cut you in there, Sylvester, but please go ahead.
Yes, and you're right. It was a good thing for the president to now open up, get all of his bubble, and in what I would call the incommunicado nature of the way he kept the presidency, keeping the Liberian people completely incommunicado. The fact that the president, came out today is commendable on a serious note. We look forward to even his former boss, the former president. He was vice president. The former president, she was very regular. She was one of those president of our country that was very open to the press. She always engaged. She had one-on-one with the press every month. She addressed the press from the very LBS, and there will be calls on filter calls that would come in, and so most of those things came in, and we went through some of this line. That is quite commendable. But they almost cut off today appearance of the president. Almost. I'm informed that almost. And it should have started by 9. You saw a delay, and the reason is that they had some issues. Those around the president, they had some issue with the journalist Peabody. So there was some problem. Eventually, I think it got fixed up, and then they finally agreed to continue with it. But it almost got cut off. Almost. And yes, that's why. I guess almost it was at the verge of cutting it off, but I think some others say, "Hey, no, we have to do it." Then move to get it done.
But I think Team Max is a middle of the road guy. So why? Because he's Gelate. I mean, he's a southeastern name. I mean, I've listened to him. He went to war on the former president. We are at times. I think he's a middle of the road guy. I think he calls it like he sees it. I don't.
Of course he is. Of course he is. But for some reason today, there was some issue that because there were 3 journalists. There was Kevin Demi from Prime FM, Timas Gilate, and then Bafri Kamara from LBS and stuff. These are the 3 journalists.
Don't forget the director general, Eugene Fagon. He had to get himself in the middle of it.
As the director general.
Unfortunately, Fagon will always do what he will do to capture public attention. For me, I didn't want to pay some attention, maybe trying to dignify what he. But these are the journalists actually that we saw conducting their journalistic responsibility today to conduct the interview with the president. So it's one of the line. But again, a lot of things unfolded. The president even admitted that he don't listen to local stations in the country.
No,
that is quite unfortunate. Imagine that you listen to BBC, but not at the very state radio. So he doesn't care for the people.
He
So he doesn't want to.
He listens to ELW too.
Yeah,
And he was
yeah, yeah.
LBS.
Yes, unfortunately, they don't hear the AN. So he's trying to say he don't listen to the nonsense about problem with Liberian people nonsense, right? So because if you listen to the local, every Liberian leader should listen and pay some attention to what the people are saying. I think it was unfortunate, and the fact that the president stated today that he didn't answer definitively on this issue about second term and other things. And I've said on our platform some time ago, if you give the president the time, he'll go for third term, right? So that is just something.
Even the second term run is a foregone conclusion, eh?
Oh yeah, it is. And that was just answered today. The fact they asked him, he said that he still want to focus on the you be clear to understand if you want to contest. But I can say this for the record that he will go for a second term, and will he win second term? I don't think so, but he will contest second term.
No, I agree with you. I thought his answer there really left a lot of wiggle room, for a run for a second term. He was not definitive on, shutting it down at all. I think he left the window open. Augustine Bio, welcome as well. You got any comment on this? Myean, we're talking about the president's press briefing today. What's your take on what happened to the LBS?
Well, I'm just following for now. Probably I could just pinch in if necessary, but for now, I'm just follow.
Okay. All right. Okay, Myean. So, you said that was the first thing. You were gonna move on to the next one. Thank you for the first one.
Yeah. So,
anything else that stood out to you? No, I was saying, was there anything else that stood out to you? I mean, Sylvester, he mentioned something that you didn't, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit more. The fact that the president left the window open for a second term. I mean, he was hinting at it all along, talking about the things that need to be done. Sometimes contracts take 2 years to negotiate, right? Suggesting that he would need more time to deliver on these things. But this president, he has been in government, and he read his resume. Started from LPMC. Ministry of Agriculture to LPRC, then private sector. So, he's been in government for quite a while. He said he grew up in Sunny Wen. He slept on the floor. So he understands, the little man's problems. He gave his resume. And then he went on to talk about, what he's doing, what he intends to do. And he thinks people are being impatient because people should know these things take time to negotiate. Some contracts take up to 2 years, which is how long he's been there. But he was the very one who declared that no car was going to get stuck in the mud within 90 days of his coming to. Didn't he know that whatever he needed to do needed more time to be negotiated? When he made that pronouncement, I was just really confused. I think there were a lot of contradictions. That the president, I don't know how well prepared he was for this briefing, but it looks like he forgot some of his own earlier statements and assertions. With some of the things he said today, he really went against some of the things he said previously. But I think he is going to run. I think Sylvester is right, the way he sounded. He sounded like somebody who was contemplating a run for 2029. Did you guys get that sense, Myean?
So on that issue, the president said the presidential job he have now is what he's thinking about. He's not worrying about 2029. So whenever this question is posed to him, he always say to some of the government officials, they are not worrying about 2029, but rather they are working in the 6 year to do what they think they can do for Liberian people. He even made a statement that he's not seeking a personal government job, but rather he have a job currently. So you don't want additional job, like whatever Liberians are thinking about to go for another 6 years. He's not thinking about it. So whatever he have now is what he's going to use or do. And then he also made the statement that Liberia is on a moving draft, or Liberia is one of the countries within the region that is on a path of developing. So with what people are saying that Liberia is not developed, Liberia is undeveloped, whatever, it's not truth. Liberia is on a path wherein people can say, yeah, Liberia in the past 6 years or 12 years,
And that is not true.
Liberia have changed to another level, and then whatever people are saying is just a political talk or just to certify themselves. And he even made a statement that he hate for people to lie on his name because you don't care. You don't care about what people say. Like he even made a statement to the media that if you writing something on him, it doesn't care about the media or whatever because it's not going to do anything to himself or it's not going to spoil a character because the level he has reached, the life he has lived, is past that wherein he will be running after media institution or whatever to say, oh yes, I want you to take this story down, whatever. In his government, the two things that media institutions should erase from their mind is that they are not going to allow any politician or anyone to criticize the government or to insult the government because of job. They are not going to allow any of the ministers to say, oh yes, I want you to take this story down, I want you to do this because my name is in the media, I'll give the media institution this one, that one. They are not going to allow the government is an institution or a government that is run on whatever you see about this person at the media institution, you should report it the way in which you want to report it. It's not about them giving you money because the media is not going to get whatever they want. Because that's the main thing the media is complaining on that the government is not giving them money or the government is mean. So because of that, they are building on that principle that the media should have that mindset from now to the 6 year can finish. They are not going to call any media institution and say, yes, we will give you this, take this story down, or take this down. They are not going to do it. So they are on the aspect of corruption. He also made a statement that whatever that was one of the shocking part about it, that if you are minister or whatever, you sit with him and have a dinner or breakfast with him, the next day if you corrupt, he's not going to suspend you or to take you from your job. So they are going to wait until the LACC carry on the investigation if found guilty so that they can prosecute you because these are things that the MCC or institution can grade the government on. So if you are corrupt or whatever, until it is being proven, it's just the people accuse you or say, yeah, the person is corrupt. Until it's being proven that you are corrupt, that's the only time. But as long people say, yeah, this person is corrupt, the person told this, told that, they're not going to listen to you. Most especially the president made a statement that he's not going to listen to people, but rather when people say you are corrupt, if you are if you're going through investigation and then it's found guilty that yeah, the person is corrupt, that's the time they are going to prosecute you. But if people just saying this person is corrupt, he's not going to take it granted. So there are a lot of things he made a statement on.
Mr. Nagbe, the president's statement on the radio today, every politician, especially sit at that particular position, will make similar statement. I remember when former president we had surfaced the power on other media outlets. He said that I'm not more focused about running for the next 6 years. I'm focused about doing the Liberian people job. Uh, what I would do is speak for them for them to really let me. So at the political space changes, you now see the former president shape in for next campaign period. So that tells us that within the next few to 6 months in 2026, we'll see the gear of President Porga will now be putting on for the campaign the next election. It shows that President Porga is interested to go for second term. That is clear, and you can just hide that particular fact, especially with the kind of I don't know lifestyle around the presidency. There will be nobody coming in that particular position and just try to let it go just like that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure. I'm sure President Burger will contest 2029. That's for sure. Especially looking at the political center, Nimba, Lofa, and those that are around the president, people that love luxury life, and trust me, they will always encourage the president to contest. The president made a lot of statement today. Some were good, some oppositions looking at it very critically, especially looking at the MRU um FOIA project what the president spoke about. So it was it's been done by the MRU, as a peace area and so on. So oppositions are looking at that particular statement. Probably the CZ government isn't being too honest to the people. The government is having something on their sleeves about that particular project. How the question is, when did the MRU sign the contract? Who were present when they signed the contract? Well, the groundbreaking ceremony took place. Who are those invited for the groundbreaking ceremony? How how is MRU building an area the president have no knowledge of, and he have state security being deployed there? Who is paying the state security? Who is feeding them? How that deployment came to be within that particular area? So there are too many controversial questions surrounding that particular statement of the president. I think the PR session of the executive mansion filled that particular area because of recent, just before the president appearance, Daniel Sando, which is the assistant to the government propaganda arm, tried to fix that particular thing in that particular LBS appearance. He went on and talked about the MRE agreement of the FOIA project, not knowing that the president will soon appear on LBS. They were trying to shape the discussion so that when the president appear on LBS, he can use that particular statement that was shared by Ministry of Information on the radio. And that's exactly what happened. And we all saw it. So I think the president need to explain more about that MRU project. He need to tell Liberian people how it came to be and who is sponsoring that particular project. Why is the aim and objective of that particular project? All right.
Thank you, sir, and Maya. Thank you very much, you guys. But let me, Sylvester, what do you think if we were to speculate? What led the president today to, after almost 2 years of avoiding, the press? Why did he decide to walk into LBS to go and sit down and talk about what his government is doing? What do you think the motivation here is? What is he? What is he trying to get out there? What message is he trying to get out there? Is he feeling,
I think,
that the people? But go ahead. Let me let you just go ahead.
yeah, I think, yes, part of what you are just about to conclude on, there's just different issues within the cycle of the presidency. Some are saying, hey, some been pushing that the president be the one to explain what he's been doing for the past 2 years. And not have been saying, hey, the woman is old, he's tired. Probably he may now understand most of the things that is unfolding, so we cannot allow him to. And others saying, no, he will have to do that. And I think that pressure came to bear, and he decided to move to do some of these things as a mark of his, the president. Because whenever the president is out and speaking on certain issues, the nation will pay some attention. So, and everyone will want to listen to the president and want to see what the president got to say. And it's in that direction that he came out today to speak to the Liberian people. Unfortunately, the marching order was not as right. And as I said, something that I was really looking at today, a statement about that area is a peace area. But what he didn't say, sir, that area was built by the MRU. He said it was built by the Liberian government. But unfortunately, they didn't inform him. About the unity. He had been in the know of that. He was going to cancel. He was going to cancel the whole plan. Now, the first and foremost thing is that why will the government of Liberia build a peace center in the words of the president, but the head of the country is not in the know of that? That is shocking. That is shocking. And so there's absolutely nothing that the government will say or do to change the narrative on that. They continue to blunder on that, and the president also blundered today on that. So there's nothing. They just came to last and said for the government of Liberia, they're trying to find a means. What peace center? The president said short of saying it. So the president who explanation today about that was very, very, very poor, and the way he also handled the media thing. Now he don't want to do this with the media, but today he met with media executives. Why did you meet with media executives behind the scene? There was this secret meeting to meet, or I don't know if it was secret or what, but he met all media executives. What are the reasons behind meeting media executives? I think today today. Why did you meet media executives today? He said, well, we don't want to do anything. We'll give this and he met media executives. I think they want to give Christmas to the media. I'm not against that. Other presidents can do the same. But in an attempt to come and believe that you will come out and want to handle certain things, and you're going to do it in isolation and believe that you are just a kind of a demigod here, that you think you to hell with all everybody. I'm the president. Anything I want to do, I'm going to do that. No, it doesn't suffice that way. So the way forward is for the president to pay some key attention here. For them to come and say that they're using $6 million or $10 million to build a peace center. What kind of a peace center? And you saying you didn't know about that? Now it's a poor and terrible explanation the president gave. This proves to say that the president is out of touch. The president does not understand what is unfolding in the country in terms of more, because the president admitted that he didn't know about the project. So as the head of
I don't know what is worse. Yeah, I don't know what is worse. The fact that he claims not to have known about this, or the fact that if he didn't know, he found out he was unable to stop it. What does that say about him as the president? If either you like it or you don't. But he sounded like, because he said the people who initiated this, they knew that he would have resented the idea. So then it means he was overpowered, that these people knew he would resent it, and they went ahead with it anyway. And he's powerless to stop it. And so I don't know which is worse, that he's unaware of what is going on in his own government, or that people are calling the shots and he's just riding along. That's why it sounded like to me.
Absolutely, Mr. Nagbe, that's the fight. That's just a fight, So it's quite a lot of things unfolded today, and more or less, we as people will have to understand some of these things that will come through, So, but again, it's just a sad day for the country. But we have to basically understand from what perspective that the president will come out to speak. If the president is coming up to speak to the nation, there should be an array of things the president will have to talk to. So the executive marshal, policy individual will come and craft and do a talking point for the president. The president may have gotten some great briefing notes, probably, but the president seems to be disconnected in most of those areas, if you will.
Right? With this, I think we should blame the information minister, because he worked behind the scene day to day, communicating to the president. So bringing the president to the public and having him blunder like this, I think we should blame the information minister. He feel a lot on today. In my own,
okay, finish, sir.
In my own mind, I believe that before the president take the podium to speak on the public radio, you see, this is one of the things former President Weah usually does when he was as a president, to come to the media, because he want to know that the PR team is fully capable of controlling all information before you come out. As a president, everything you say, people term it as truth. So before you speak, your information team should be on top of that case, 100%. But I believe that the the information arm of the government failed this entire session today. But they were so 100% sure that they were doing the rightful thing. But at the other hand, it was just all something else, you know. So I think we should blame the information minister more, and he need to work it up more.
Yeah,
So, listen, I'm going
Myean,
to
go ahead.
add to what Sir just said. So, one of the things I have noticed about this government is that every minister, everyone wants to break the news. So, in breaking the news, sometimes it becomes a trouble for them. Because let's say, for instance, the first issue that the Liberian people have with this government was that the issue of this yellow machine. When they first got the information, they never took time to carry on some research or whatever measure that they think they can be able to get everything in place before coming up to announce it. Because the Minister of State with our portfolio by then, Mamaka Belete, she wanted to break the news. So because of that, she just came out and then they started announcing it over this amount of yellow machine was coming to the country. And then the information started to go out, and the public, everyone were concerned. After a few times, they came back, they were back and forth, back and forth. Why she have to there was a serious crisis within the cabinet. And then they started to go back and forth with her why she have to announcing other stuff. They were trying to use the Ministry of Information to debunk some of the statement, but they couldn't make it at that time. The statement have already gone well over where they couldn't have control over it again. That's the same thing they are going on again with this FOIA project. So everyone wants to break the news. Everyone wants to make the information to be here to the people, but they are not making it in the proper channel. They are not passing through the proper channel because everyone feel that they are educated. Everyone feel that they knows everything. They are the one who's supposed to give the information out to the public. They are the one who were in the negotiation process to make this deal come true. So they just want to inform the people to that, when you at a certain point, if you know that you're doing something good and then the deal is not completed, but you just want to vote so that you can say, yeah, the government is doing well. You just vote. It's the same thing happening with even though I'm the executive management reporter. So I'm speaking from what I can hear from some of the government officials, because it's the same thing that happened on November 29. There was a project that the president announced. No media institution have noticed about it. I'm saying it tonight. The president announced a project that should be, the blueprint should be in Liberia on the 13th of this month, where he said that the Japanese government have sent people in the country. They will be having a program on the 13th of this month, which have already passed. We yet to see anything yet, but we're waiting to see if the president or the press secretary called for a press conference today. They're working on a press conference. So we hope to see that maybe probably next week or after the entire holiday to find out from them what exactly is it that up to now, since the president announced that December 13, they will be introducing to the Liberian people the kind of shape and other stuff that they will be producing in Liberia, the official program or to welcome the people. The only thing we saw was when the Ministry of Education was having that program at the Moravia City Hall, where the guys who came from Japan, they were in attendance. It was when the president just introduced them, say, "Oh, we just introduced our folks, our partner who just came in country," where the president made a statement on November 29 that there will be an official program to welcome them, so that the blueprint or whatever that they came in country to do can be able to be displayed to the Liberian people. So right at that program, when the president announced it, when it came out, one of the ministers said it to me that why is it that the president is just rushing? That's he started outlining some of the things that they had challenges within, because everyone wants to announce the project, everyone wants to announce things. The thing is not yet in the country, the people is not in the country, the thing is not yet the deal is not completed, but just because they want the Liberian people to be informed to say, yeah, this government is doing something. So everyone just want to announce it so that the Liberian people can be informed. But the real issue or the real deal, the real happening is not being informed by the Liberian people, but they just want to break the news. So that's the kind of country we find ourselves in. If you find somewhere that educated people are too much, you find that so many missteps will be in between. There are so many arguments, so many things will be in between. So, Mr. Nagbe, I just like to stop there for now.
No, I mean, you took it from my mouth. I too notice there seemed to have been a little bit of fight over turf, and like you said, everybody wants to break the news. In that room, I saw the minister of information. I think when they entered the room, he kind of took over. The president press secretary was also there. She was, front and center. She didn't say or do much. And of course, we talked about the LBS Director General's last question, the softball question that he gave the president. The president has been there only 2 years. He's done this. He stabilized the country. The rate is so and so, right price coming down, all these flowery things. Was that really a question or a commendation? I don't know. But you're right, Maya. I mean, you do have an eye for a journalist. And you notice, too, there was a little bit of tension there. Kind of a fight over turf. Everybody wants to break the news and everybody wants to be in charge. But I think the protocol should have been drawn up. You're very right. You heard us say, I think it was Sa who said he put it on the Ministry of Information. I think there should have been a protocol. I don't know. Maybe this was impromptu. I don't know. But, they got in there. I think there was a bit of confusion. They didn't know how to get started. I saw my friend Anthony Kessley in the background. Everybody wanted to exert themselves. Eventually, they all settled down and the interview happened. But you're right. Everybody's bumping. I saw this when I met with the president in Georgia. The protocol people were there, but you had the informal, people running the protocol. Anthony Cassidy was basically running the show. He's the Minister of State for Public Affairs, Deputy Minister of State, I think, for Public Affairs. He's not a protocol person, but I think he has a certain proximity to the president, and so he's there, I guess, doing his best. But there are people who went to, I mean, back in the day, they used to go to Cameroon first and go to, I think, Sylvester know this. The Public Service Institute that these people are trained, protocol people. They know how to handle and run a protocol. When the president walks in a room, they know where he's supposed to sit, who is supposed to sit next to him, given the pecking order, They know all of that. But I think today there was a little bit of confusion, when they got in the room. I mean, I saw the president legal advisor in the room as well. I don't know whether they thought he was going to say something that will get him in trouble. I don't know. But yeah, I saw the president. The one person we didn't see there was the president's senior political advisor. No, that was a joke.
Yeah, she's on her honeymoon. She's on the honeymoon.
She's on her honeymoon, right?
Yeah. But on a serious note, it was a good thing today, as we emphasized from the get-go, that the president came out to speak today. So absolutely a good thing. But I will want to thank the handlers of the president. That's why the presidency is an institution. It's a sacred institution, and people should make it their business to ensuring that the sacredness of that institution is always upheld. And if that is the case, folks, and that's the reason why the government and people of Liberia agree to pay a lot of people around the president to get the presidency, to get the job done around the presidency, because the president himself cannot do those things. The president, no matter his age, the president will need lieutenants that will help him perform his responsibility as president of the republic. So if and only you have people, the president should deploy people that will be competent and effective in performing the tasks around the presidency of the republic, to see some level of disorganization, some level of ineptitude and efficiency around the presidency's side. And so that is clear. But if you saw the way people at Fagon would say, will ask caution or think, I don't expect him to. Again, I don't think we need even to elevate that side of the debate. You expect if you are to get 500 times, you ask the president, say, Mr. President, 2029, you want tea in your sugar or sugar in your tea? I don't know why you want to put it that way. So these are not these are puppet boys, right? So we don't need them to tell what the president is doing. But one thing I believe, I thought they should have prepared the president in terms of the briefing notes and the talking points, so the president will effectively and adequately address most of the issues. The president left a lot of lingering issue behind, and he gave a very flawed answer. The president looked very disoriented in most of the issue that we expected him to understand.
Yes.
If you got the president that is disoriented, coming to a major interview to the people in year 2 of his presidency is troubling. It's not a good sign. So I don't know how, and that's part of the reason we ought to now, as people, believe that we need an alternative to the country. And that alternative to the country will have to be structured in a way and manner that we can do it and see it through, right? And I've been seeing a lot of things unfolding in the country and other side of things, right? The president is talking about the economy. He's giving no definitive answer. He's still telling people to be patient in year 2, right? Contract will take a long time to come through. The president is still telling us to be patient in year 2. I will not be surprised. December of next year, immediately after lighting the Christmas tree, the president will tell us, say, okay, y'all give me another 2 more years to see what's going to happen, right? That's going to be half time of his presidency. But, the people would take the belief, and Liberia is not going to be the same. Yeah, Liberia would not be the same. If anyone were to harbor any thinking that we will come because we got the presidency currently, we run the government, we will use the machinery of the states in our favor to rig the elections, then you're talking about you are setting a proper recipe for more trouble in the country. I don't think this president will want his name to be the one, because it will not only be he that will come down. He will put the entire country back into a serious trouble. So I don't want to believe that's going to be the mindset that will happen moving forward, is to perform. And I'm very sure if the former president did the same, if other people were around saying, "Oh, Mr. President, we're not taking the result," no, you were done with it. He said, "Hey, if you guys didn't do your job, you didn't perform your responsibility.
Yeah, I called the customer back.
I'm going to come up and concede. I will call Ambassador Boakai and tell him, congratulations." And that's what he did. And I would expect the best way to win election is to get the job done. That's why the late Professor Sumo Kupi will always say, to keep your job is to get the job done, right? If you get your job done adequately and effectively and efficiently, there's room that you always have the job, So today, it was a good thing the president came out, but the president didn't do good for up to now. He fell short. He said currently that peace area, he didn't like it. But our peace center now, people will come from all over the place to come do peace. What kind of peace? But the president fell short of telling us how much money they put into it. And I thought the journalists were probing further. Now that he himself spoke to it, the government took claim of it. I thought the journalists would have now probed the president to say, "Mr. President, now that you said you didn't know, and you knew you're going to stop it. Now that you know how much money there, what they told you that they spent, right?" So all those things,
I could put the journalists at risk.
Well, journalists be at risk on that. No journalist will be at risk. I would have asked that question, and if they didn't, and today you could notice that. They set the stage. There's a guy that asked who a question that will come into the president somehow, and they canceled that call. If you found out that it was a stage managed thing, and they tried to stage manage this thing, it didn't.
There's a people listening to you. You see, we journalists here at time our life go at risk just for something simple, for asking the very hard question. You see this newsmaker having a press conference, and you the reporter on ground there, you have a very tough question. His security man and his supporter at the background watching you. If you keep on asking the hard question over and over, trust me, when you come in outside, somebody come in here and threat you. I mean, that thing you do down there will do the one to you, will come for you.
Amen.
So
So I'm not cutting you off. I will hope I will be a journalist and be active back in the country. For me, I'm here. I was in the country. You saw me. I didn't change on what I can see, what I'm here, right? You follow me, you saw what I said on OK and other areas. That journalist, that security man, I will come to me and tell me, say, my man, you were threatening me. You know, I would tell him back here, yeah, I will go back to him. I say, I know where your people, I know be here to. Don't forget everything else. So listen, you have to, it's not gonna be the issue. We have to be very clear in this country to tell people. And one thing someone said to me, no one can monopolize violence. That security man I is telling you, man, you can't do nothing. I would think, say, oh man, as I learned your old man around Johnsonville, you know, remind him. We ought to be frank. No one going to threaten you as a journalist in performing your journalistic reportage. No one should threaten you for that. It's just quite unfortunate. It had to happen the way it unfolded today. But again, that's my side of it. I'm not a dogmatic person. I want to see the clear through and want to dodge it. If the government did something good, I will always be the first person to come and comment. But I thought the handlers of the Excellency, the president, didn't do good today. They should have, and that's one of the reasons I was saying they almost cut off today discussion. There was some problem with T-Margilate. That's why I'm reliably informed, and they almost cut it off today. But again, they fixed it at the dying minute. And they went part of the reason why they started pushing it until they eventually agreed to move forward with the planned interview with the president, if you will, with the journalists. But again, good that the president came out. I will hope, I don't know, it's going to be one time a year. President Sharif did once a month, and that's very good. Sometimes twice a month. She had two versions where she would come on ARBC and speak. Journalists would ask her different tough talking journalists. We all meet at the times around 3 or 4. We grill the president for different sector of it, and she will respond to them, and then it will open the line for different sector of area. People will engage. I was one of those at the time. I remember I was very consistent. I was always through the line. We will keep such a way to get through it. We did. Charged it up. Then I was not really active into it, but I was I used to really like his politics. He was doing it 2 times a month. We called them to the executive mansion. Then the next time he'll come and sit in the studio, Kiss FM, and engage the public and other things. They'll ask the hard question and you respond to them. And the other thing, I didn't see that happen a lot during George Weah time. And I'm not seeing it happening also. The first time it have happened during this era and other things. So we look forward to seeing more, but it's unfortunate that the president didn't do much as we anticipated today. Welcome, Mr. Jackson Seaton.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm happy to be on the program tonight. I just want to make a little comment on my brother, Cy Augustine Mobayo Jr. Statement that they sometimes they try to self-censor themselves to stop asking her questions because they don't want to be threatened. Well, that is the nature of this business. If you're a journalist, you have to ask the hard questions. The Liberian people need to know exactly what is happening with their leaders, the decisions that their leader make. I can give you an example. When I was in the field, when President Taylor was president, that was a perilous time for Liberian journalists. And we did ask Mr. Taylor those hard questions. Mr. Taylor had a regular monthly tete-a-tete.
Yeah, there's a feedback. There's a feedback.
Why don't you bring your volume down? I'm here on a conference too. Mr. Taylor had a regular monthly tete-a-tete with the local media and international media. And I remember on many occasions, I personally asked Mr. Taylor those hard questions that even people thought that when I leave from that press conference, I won't go home. But it was my responsibility for the Liberian people to know exactly what is happening. And it is sad that instead of the current government promoting press freedom, now they are allowing the press to be self-censored. And I think that this is an issue that I will try to discuss with my colleague, my good friend, Jerome Gayman, who is the Minister of Information, to find out how can the government assure the press so that people can ask those hard questions so that press will not feel intimidated and feel threatened or be threatened. Now, with respect to the president having a regular the news conference today, I think it was belated. The president needs to constantly have these interactions with the media so that the Liberian people can know exactly how his government is delivering on its promises to the Liberian people. The FOIA project. Yes, the president came out today to talk about the FOIA project, but why was the secrecy behind it in the first place? Why was it hidden? Why didn't they tell the Liberian people from the onset that look, the Liberian government is going to build a complex in Foya, Lofa County, for conflict resolution and peace building? They should have been upfront from the beginning. Let the Liberian people know that you're building this, the purpose for which you guys are building it, and the cost associated with the construction. But none of that was happening. There was a whole, in the absence of actual information, it creates room for speculation. Yes, the president came and said, well, that's not his personal property. It doesn't belong to him. It belongs to the MRU. Well, look, the fact that you have come in lately to answer these questions, many people are skeptical whether indeed actually he's saying the truth or he's not saying the truth. So you see, the fact that they are hiding information. The president came to the United States. He was supposed to seek medical attention. They hear that information. All of these things create room for what? Speculations. And you as a leader, you don't want to create the room for speculation, especially when you're leading a country like Liberia. As my brother Pewee said, Charles Taylor, during his administration, he was one of those guys who was constantly in constant communication with the press. He had his monthly tete-a-tete. He goes to Kiss FM. He has his monthly sit down with the press. So the president needs to do that. And, yes, Taylor is the only president in recent time that we say, yeah, where he really used to love the media. That's true. But equally so, George Weah, I personally believe that George Weah has a disdain for the media. That's why he didn't engage the media throughout his presidency. And Madam Seleke, yeah, she tried a little bit, but I think
she was good, very good.
Yeah, she tried, but I think this president, the Liberian people needs to know more, because obviously, many of his surrogates comes on all of these different platforms and say the government is doing X, Y, Z, but the people don't see that. People need to see exactly what the government is doing. Like, the Ministry of Information, Liberia Broadcasting System used to have the weekly panorama, take the media to the leeward counties of the country so that people can see exactly what the government is doing. In the absence of those coverages, it creates a lot of room for speculations. Thank you.
Yeah, on a serious note on that, it creates a lot of room for speculation. Mr. Nagbe,
yes, Sylvester, thank you, because I'm about to leave you guys, but thank you very much. But let me remind my friend Jackson, and welcome to the show. Yeah, I don't know what you will be telling your friend Jerome Pierre when he himself is on record in September. Remember that incident they had in Nimba? Some press engagement where the vice president was absent, and the front page Africa reporter tried to inquire about that. He angrily took the man's recorder and deleted his recording from his phone. You remember that?
No,
that
it was OKFM reporter.
Thank you, Sylvester. But I'm just making the point that Jackson may want to be careful, because his friend is the very one who is part of the people that perpetrating the violence against journalists that SAR is concerned about. So good luck with that. But I want to agree. I think the journalists could have pushed a little. I think one of them, if I'm not mistaken, it was Steve Marks. One of them, when the president kept saying the people, they started the project, and he pushed. He said, "Who the people?" But the president sidestepped that question. Who are the people behind this project? I think they could have pushed, a little harder. I agree. I think the president, he prepared for this meeting. He was not prepared to discuss the economy. I was surprised by that. A caller called in and asked him about the dual currency situation. In Liberia, people still use the U.S. dollar and the local Liberian dollar. Somebody raised that question. The president was not prepared for it. He said they would go and think on it. I thought he should have come prepared for that. Somebody called him and told him that he is speaking reconciliation, but he's reconciling with the dead. He's had ceremony burying the dead, but he's not reconciling with the living. He hasn't had any meeting whatsoever, with the opposition political leaders. And everybody knows this country is evenly divided. I thought he should have anticipated that question, but he didn't. And I thought he would have expanded on his travels. There has been much talk, about these freaking trips that he's taking out of the country. Again, when you're coming to meet the press, usually there's some. That's why I asked Sylvester whether you thought, there was some motivation behind him coming to the press. Usually it's something that you have that you want to clarify. You got something on your chest or some policy statement you want to put out. But I didn't hear any. The president just sat down for almost 2 hours, and just ran through, very shallowly, through various topics. And I can't tell you that I walked away from today's meeting with anything substantive, but I don't know. Notwithstanding, again, I agree with you, Sylvester. We raised that earlier. I think it's a good thing that he did. Hopefully he will get better at it. I'm sure, and hopefully he will do it more regularly. And hopefully next time, he will come in with much more detail. But I want to thank you guys. I got to jump off. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. I'll see you here on Monday.
Yeah, let me just make this comment to what Victor just stated with respect to the president press conference where he talked about the FOIA project. He said that they didn't tell him from the beginning. He didn't know about it because if they had told him, he would have stopped it. Now the question is, who initiated the whole project without the knowledge of the president of the republic? You're building a peace building and conflict resolution project for the entire Mana River Union in a specific country, Liberia, and the president of the republic does not know. I mean, I'm kind of I'm baffled over the fact that the president can come and say, well, I did not know because I didn't approve it, I didn't like it, and because that what they didn't tell me, and because if they had told me, I would have stopped it. They who? Is it ECWA? I mean, is it Mana River Union? Or is it your lieutenant in your government? Who? And I think that what T-Max, my good friend T-Max, I think that's where they missed the point. They should have asked that question. Who initiated this project? You understand? Because again, it creates room for speculation. Even though he's clarifying, but the clarity that he gave, it still created a lot of room for more questions. You see what I'm saying? Because in therefore he said who. He didn't say specifically who initiated this project, where is the funding coming from, how much is the government putting in, and why is it that he opposed it from the first place, why is it that they didn't tell him from the beginning, and all of these things needed to be answered. And again, what my friend Victor just stated, he didn't talk about the economy. This is the festive season of the year in Liberia. And you right over there, you just came from there, and my phone is on a hook. It just keeps bustling. Relatives, friends calling. When you speak to anybody, say, my man, the country is tough. The country is tough. And then he went over there, he spent 2 hours, he didn't even talk about the economy. How is he going to improve the economy? Nobody knows. He didn't say anything like that. I think he should have come prepared to discuss a wide range of issues. Not only the FOIA project, he needed to talk about the situation with rule of law, the situation with health, the situation with education, the overall economy. You should have discussed all of these issues so that people will leave with a clear understanding on how the government is tackling all of these issues that are affecting Liberians.
But Mr. Seaton, this is it. Again, this is where we are still behind in this country. We just believe in one group of people to be doing things at the same time. Having presidential interview should come with expertise in various backgrounds. I don't believe you should have political journalists to have interview with the president. This is where we're lacking. If you have the president to be interviewed, you should have a journalist with a background from the economic sector. You have a journalist from the background from the agriculture sector. You have a journalist from the background of the security sector. They will tackle the major questions, the points to ask the president. But no, we can see that in any of our interviews here. You will have the same people that discuss random political issues every day on the radio, going to ask the president political questions. So you will not expect the real hard question to be asked. But if you have people of different experts, that understands our various fields in agriculture, in this sector, then you will have the real question being asked, and you admire the conversation that the commoners will even learn from it. That's my own opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, and hold, let me just let me just comment on what he just stated. What you stated, it is very important. It goes back. I'll go back to my day when I was a reporter in Liberia. I did math and economics at the University of Liberia before I joined the media. Okay. Now, I remember there was, I think, 1996 election, the president of Liberia election, right? I registered to contest the vice presidency. Now, at that time, I was almost an editor. I was not an editor, but I had extensive background in economics. The press, rejected my application for the mere fact that they said, well, I'm a journalist, but I'm a mathematician, and they gave some flimsy argument why they couldn't accept my application. But then I told them, I said, look, the media is broad. We need people to be specialists in certain areas of the media. If you have that, then, for example, Eli Salabi, when he was finance minister and even when he was governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, when I was at the inquiry when he was governor, Salabi never spoke to the press until he called Philip, the late Philip, who said, peace be to his ashes, and request that I go to that press conference. Why? Because Salabi, when he was at the finance ministry, he had a major press conference, and I wrote a story from that press conference using all of the economic jargons that he used. I tie into my story. From that time, he took interest in my reporting because he knew that I knew, you understand, the issue when it comes to the economy. So what you are saying, it makes a lot of sense. And I just think that the press, and will look at that so that, while it is true that you guys are on the field, you need to be specialized in different areas. Like in Liberia, when we were there, while it is true that we didn't have training in all of these areas, but the late Philip would say, make sure that he assigned reporters to specific areas of government. We had the executive management reporter, we had the capital building reporter, we had a court reporter, and all of these people were reporting on what? On those issues. And because they were reporting on those issues, they were gaining some background in those areas. So I think what you are saying is true. Thank you.
I think, welcome, Robert.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think what he said is true, but again, we cannot, that would be the case in the broad and those most powerful society in other countries also, as we do have some journalists and mind you, we have people that are referred to as veteran Liberian journalists that do understand the day-to-day issues unfolding in the country. So they will ask the hard question. Like Tima Julate, he's learned enough to understand what is unfolding in the economy. He will understand the political issue that are unfolding, what is affecting the Liberian people. You have some brilliant Liberian journalists. We don't have all of the journalists, particularly here, as you see those big media platforms would say, those cable news and other things would say to you, you have a journalist, the economic reporter, a judicial reporter, and if you found a judicial reporter would particularly be a lawyer and other things. We may reach there, but we're far from there yet. But again, the fact that we have certain journalists that have been around discussing a lot of political issues, they merge themselves with different concepts of the Liberian politics and the bureaucracy. Certainly, they will understand some of these things. I agree that we need to push journalists in journalism. We should have folks that we should have political reporter. For instance, if you did mass communication and specialize in political science, if you will, you'll be a political reporter. If you did economics, you'll be the economic reporter. If you did, so if you did those that are in the science area, we have our science correspondent and other things. We a little far from that, but we got some journalists that are very, very much talented in the country, and they may not specialize in a particular area, but they do understand the day-to-day issue and what affecting the Liberian people. So, with that, I agree, Messiah, but again, it don't really apply to our case. But these journalists sometimes can ask a hard question, but most of the things, these are prepared behind the scene press conference that will be arranged for the president, and they just have a laugh. We want to see a day the president will be like Madame Salif. There was no hard question that came to her. Charles Taylor days. You had Alfonso Zion asking one of the toughest questions ever to tell Taylor that he didn't like and all those things. But he imagined he was a very talented president and all those things. So basically, but we'll be moving up to that. But Raul, you just came in. If I were to engage you, I don't know if you listened today to Raul is out. So we will be paying some attention. A lot of some good things also happen in the country today. We will not always just come and bash. But we were actually expected to have some discussions about the budget and the children situation in the country, but we will again have to make some adjustment to push that to Monday. Because we wanted to go into what the president discussed today, what the president was talking about today. But another critical thing unfolded today, the National Oil Company of Liberia, NOCA, dedicated her own headquarters today. The current head of NOCA, Fabian Lai, is the current CEO of the oil company. We've been there, a lot of things again unfolding in terms of a lot of issues coming up, with most of those ratification about exploration, potential exploration in the country, with different things unfolding. Today, the oil company cut the ribbon on our own new headquarters. And something, it's a state-of-the-art headquarters that was on it. I just will kick it off on there. I want to commend the government, the president attended this on, I think it's on 2nd Street there, almost before the City Hall. It's a very elaborate and very wonderful edifice, and I saw today dedicating this from this very wonderful thing today. The oil company will have its own headquarters, if you will. So I don't know if any of our crew attended the program today or so, but we want to take this time to commend the government, particularly the work, the management and team of NOCA today for that very, very, very milestone project. We always said this, that government will come in, will start renting from other private properties and all those things today. And that was a milestone. And we talked to, though we're going hard to say the president didn't do this today, he didn't do that today, and other things. But it's the other good side of it. I mean, I don't know if politically I'll be correct to say it's a cancellation or so. But Rob, before we go to that, I was just about to engage you. I don't know if you followed the president today. The president addressed the nation today from the state radio for almost more than an hour. And I don't know what's your own takeaway from that, if you ever followed the president this morning.
Yes, I was following because I really wanted to listen to the full interview, but then I kind of got on an impromptu conference call, and so I think I watched the first part of it, and I'm going to watch the rest of it. So honestly, I didn't watch the whole thing. I've heard sound bites, you know, analysis from the interview, but generally, I think that the president appears to have been very comfortable. Um, it seems like he was in a familiar space, if you may, um, and I think it made the interview, you know, a pretty decent interview for him. There's no question about the eloquency of GMB. I think as quiet and as calm as his characteristic and his demeanor appears. Um, I've never heard Joseph Boakai get loud. I've never heard those around him speak of that intensity in his voice. I think he's always appeared to be very calm in his deliverables, um, and he exhibited that today. I thought he was very very clear. He looked very strong. I thought he looked well, um, and he was in a familiar space. But the substance of the interview, I think, I don't necessarily have to even watch the rest of it. But I think I caught the first 30 minutes. I think the substance of the interview is what got me concerned, Sylvester. Um, and I won't even blame this on whether or not it was tailored for the president. I'm sure, and I concur with you that I'm sure that these guys had prearranged questions. The executive mansion secretary and all those guys, the information ministry. I'm sure it was arranged what to talk about and what not to talk about, and so I'm sure he was prepared to answer those questions. But the answering of those questions again did not. I think it left more questions than answer, given the fact that this is his first major interview since he became president. T. Maz asked him about, I think it was T. Maz or the other guy, asking him about, to specifically expand on the arrest agenda, and then he spoke on the idea that birth the rest agenda, and then pivot to opening the country, and I thought that was intentionally done. But when you look at the arrest agenda, and all of the things that are key to the president, and you look at the budget, it tells you exactly what the president priorities are. And based on what I heard today, if the arrest agenda is a document, it's a blueprint based on what he campaigned on and what he prioritizes, then the budget does not tell that full story, right? I'll give you an example. Tourism. Uh, the amount in the budget for tourism does not reflect the emphasis that I heard from the president today, and I believed him. I agree with them, but the words and the action does not match when he says, "I think there are lots of opportunities when it comes to tourism in this country." And the possibility that tourism can create many jobs in our country. I agree 100%. But if you have faith in this industry as much as you say you do, and is one of the pillars of your government and your campaign, then why does the budget not reflect the level of investment in this area? It baffles me because again, if this is a priority, then the budget should reflect what is considered priorities in the president's agenda. The president also talked about fighting corruption. And again, all of these things are good things to say, but then when you talk about the actions, folks have gotten arrested. Headlines have been made when it comes to the individuals have been arrested, like this former finance minister and some of the other folks, the names we heard that are part of the previous administration. But what is taking so long when it comes to prosecution of these people to have that day in court, right? No one has been found guilty. These cases seems to be just again to bluff to say, hey, yes, we've made some arrest, but arrest does not make does not prove what is alleged, and it does not send a message to what the kind of actions we want to see when it comes to seriously fighting corruption and zero tolerance for that. So again, I don't see anything to that. He talked about reconciliation and how the actions they've taken have made the country happier. And I was kind of lost. And what does the president mean by that? Because we have not seen true reconciliation. Having prayer services, asking God to forgive us of our sins. This is nothing new. The women of Liberia have prayed for Liberia since we put the guns down, Sylvester. During the Charles in 2002, I've never seen the kind of prayer that we saw women of Liberia pray. And decades later, those prayers have not translated into serious government, serious action when it comes to what are those things. You can't ask God to forgive you for your sins and then you continue to do the same thing and the people are still suffering. I mean, there are many, many things that he talked about. They took over a difficult country. And one thing that I thought was amazing was the president admitting when he was asked about, have you taken the time to go out the country? And he said, well, what's the essence of going out the country when I don't have a message? So I think he agrees that after 2 years, a lot of things were promised, and in order for him to go in the country, out of the country, he called those areas the most difficult areas on court. And so he agrees that there are areas nearby Morovia that you can easily drive. A convert can easily go to those areas. But then there are other areas where, even with the best cars, you can't get to those areas because the roads are still messed up, which again speaks to this whole commitment that after 90 days, there will be no cars stuck on any major road in our country. And it's an admittance that that promise has not been kept, and that we still have work to be done. And so there were a lot of things. He also talked about the 4-year project, and he said that he was unaware of the project. And I stand corrected, but I think I heard that, Sylvester. I'm not sure if you heard that. He said he was unaware of the
No.
project.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier on. Yeah, he said that. He said it. He said he
So
didn't know
So
that he
Sylvester,
knew.
how can the president of Liberia and I went back and I played the interview of the public works minister, my dear friend Giddens, with Julius Jar. And I think Julius Jar did a phenomenal job trying to inquire from the minister on his whether or not he was aware of this project and whether or not this project was approved by the ministry. And he admitted that they were aware of preliminaries, even though they did not see the plan, but they approved the project. They were aware of preliminaries, but he could not speak on the project, even though he knew that the project has security implications, right? If you know the project has security implications, which again I think is bogus and is a flimsy excuse as to why they have not been transparent, then you must have known something that you don't want us to know. How can Guinness see preliminaries and the public work ministry have to approve this project, and the president of the Republic of Liberia does not know about a project at that magnitude in his backyard? I mean, do you want us to believe that? And I think it's a contradiction. And everyone that spoke about this project in the Ministry of Information, the minister proper and his deputy, They did mention that it was an MRU project. The MRU have issued a statement denying that flatly. That no, we're not paying for no project of this magnitude, right? And so all of these informations are coming out now. They've come out with a whole story, but the president coming today and telling the country that he had no idea about this project, I think raises a lot of red flag. And I think it's time that the public hold this government accountable. When did the president? When was the president aware of this project? And if they are telling us that of foreign entities and organizations and individuals are making contributions, who are those individuals that are making contribution to a government project? Who are those private individuals? Who are the foreign entities that are making contributions to a Liberian government project? And what is the amount? What is the amount of taxpayer money that is going to this project? And did this project get legislative approval as per law? So there's a lot of things that happen in the interview. Again, that no one will question the president's eloquency, but I think he did more harm to some of these issues than good.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, and that's some part of the issue we've been raising, and I think a lot of media pundits been concerned about that. That the presidency will actually not be in the know of a major project undertaken by his own administration as the commander in chief and head of state of government. When would know these things, but again, the debate is going to unfold on that, and a lot of other things being happening to in said direction, if you will. I don't think. But Mr. Sita, the portion about what basically the president stated, there were different areas the president spoke of, if you will, talking about because there's this notion of in the country, if we have to go back to things to know that the Liberian leader is supposed to get information as to what is unfolding in the country. His values are all deployed, which of course those are the superintendents of the counties. But when he was asked this question today about the tour of the counties, and he seems a little disorientated as to, and I don't know if that's the real world of news, but as to the way to engage that in terms of, he said he didn't have a message to go to the county. You as a journalist yourself and back, and what is your reading from that particular answer of the president? Because I feel a little bit concerned to see the president, and if I don't justify some of the things we've been saying before, that the president is saying he don't have a message to take to the county.
I think, it just shows that the president is out of touch with the people that elected him into office. The country has multiple challenges. The people expected a lot from him, and that's why they elected him as president. They wanted somebody that would turn the country around 360 degrees from the dismal performance of George Weah. And now he has gone 2 years into his administration. There is nothing tangible that he can show the Liberian people. And that is the reason why maybe he doesn't want to engage in a counter tour. But I think it would serve him good if he did indeed begin to visit different parts of the country to familiarize himself with what is obtaining in those parts of the country. Because look, and we all know Liberian politics. If things are bad, your officials will never tell you that they are bad. They will always tell you, oh, Chi, everything is okay. So the reason why they don't tell you, because they are afraid to tell you. So it is important that the president visit almost every region in the country to get himself accustomed to what is happening. And the fact that he has not done that, And he clearly stated that, well, he has no message to tell the people. That rings a bell.
Yeah. So moving forward, you think that was a political mistake on the part of the president to say that?
Yes, that was a serious mistake. He shouldn't have said that. Look, again, sometimes we ask the question. This whole thing was pre-planned. You understand? It was pre-planned. The president should have gone over there with a lot of information. And you understand? He should have gone over there with a lot of information. His handlers, I don't think they did him justice to just allow him to just go to a press conference without giving him ample amount of ammunition. You understand? How will you, as a president of a republic, they ask you, when will you visit the leeward counties? And then you say, well, I don't have any message. Wow. That's a serious mistake.
And quite frankly, it is a serious one for the president to stand that way, and like, because you have an arrest agenda to
exactly
execute. I will go to the country and tell the people what I've started doing. We're on course. We're trying to move the country from this. We're trying to promote this, trying to promote. But if the president will actually say he didn't have a message to the people, Rao, in your thinking quickly, is that a slap in the face of those that are working in different sectors of his government? Because the governance is such that the presidency is the institution that generates policy, but there are auxiliaries under the president, which is the ministry and agency and other things. If we have those people working with the president say you don't have a message, you think that warrant or that would direct to certain major areas to say there is basic gross incompetence?
Yeah, I think it was a mistake. I agree with you, Sylvester and Mr. Seaton, that it was a mistake. But I do think that in moments like that, I think mistake tells a story of truth and honesty. And I genuinely believe the president when he says he has no message. I do. And I think politically is not the optics isn't doesn't look good. And if we had a mature opposition, I think they will be running with this, right? I mean, this is the making of an ad, of a political ad, that the president does not have a message for you. If you live in those, the remotest part of the country, um, your president just said he's not going to visit you because he's not going to engage with you because he has no message, and this is going 2 years into his administration. And let's assume, even if we were to attempt to intellectualize what he meant, that I don't want to go to those counties with nothing. That upon my visit to those counties, I want to go and say, yeah, here is a report of what we've done. It still does not negate the fact that the president can visit those people to update them on what he's accomplished so far. Yes, you may not have built the bridges. Yes, you may not have built all of the roads. Yes, you may not have created jobs. Yes, you may not have done open up the country. But if you said you've done things and there are changes, and if your people are mad at Alice Cummings that nothing has changed, and again, this is when I expect the ANC folks to really come and talk about these issues. This is how we make our national politics fun, but also point out the facts, Sylvester. Alice Cummings indicated that nothing has changed. Today, on an interview to Liberia, and I don't care how literal or whatever he intended. The president literally second what Alice Cummings indicated. Nothing has changed, or if something has changed, not much has changed. Because if this president believed within his performance that significant changes, even in the shortest period, have been made, the president would not have said, "Well, I have no message here." And so I agree with the president. I don't think he has a message, not only for those in those counties. I don't think he has a message for people in Monrovia. I don't think he has a message for protesters that went out to talk about to vote yesterday. If they were to ask the president, I was listening to one of the protesters, and they were pushing her on why she was protesting, and she talked about jobs and all of the things that, and they said, well, what do you live? She said, I live in Congo Town, whatever she lived. They said, well, is the electricity not stable there? She says, no, it's not stable. And the journalist attempted to push back and said, well, other people who live in that area have attested to the fact that electricity is stable. And she said, and I think she asked a profound question. So the only electricity that the only problem in the country, the electricity will put food on my table, the electricity will send my kids to school. These are valid questions. I want to hear the president respond to that individuals. It doesn't matter what political party she comes from. But how do you respond to Liberian, including those who voted for you, that today will look at the economy and say, this economy has not moved a needle. We're still experiencing the same things we were experiencing, or even worse, when George Weah was president. How do you respond to that if your only response is, well, we're opening the country, we're building roads. Well, electricity has improved, but a buck of the folks cannot even afford electricity. How does the president respond? What would be his message to that woman? He has no message. So I thought politically was bad. I don't think he should have said that. Because this president has made multiple trips, Sylvester. If he has no message for the people in those counties, what has been his message with all of the trips he's made overseas, and yet we have not seen the dividends of those trips? What has been his message overseas? He's made those trips. He's used taxpayer money to fly across the world. What has been his message? I think these are some of the conversations the president can go into these different counties, town hall meetings, and try to explain to the Liberian people, well, you may not have seen me come back with this. You may not have seen me come back with this, but these are things that are in works. That's a message right there. That's an engagement I think worth his visit. But to just say, I have no message, I thought that was politically that was devastating.
Absolutely. Yeah, lot more we're gonna push on this president thing. I think we're gonna put a lot of things together on Monday, and both look into the budget. There's gonna be a huge level of talking point Monday. The budget, the kids hawking in streets and all of things, and that of this president message today. A lot of things, but today. Member of the diaspora met with the election commission. You know, Mr. Sito, you are key member of the Liberian diaspora here in the U.S. As a matter of fact, you are the preso or the chair, if you will, in the first states, in the great state of Delaware. But they met with the National Election Commission. I think this is in preparation of this next election, 2029, and I'm told. Mr. Sito be out of the bureau for more than 30 years. I don't know how true is this. Someone is telling me that. You are muted. You are muted, Chief.
I've not been out more than 30. I've been out more than, let's say, about 22 years. Yeah, 22.
And
22.
that's too much. Now you see you getting engaged in the politics. I will hope it's a challenge for you to go back home next year.
Yeah, I was there 2020. I was there 2022.
Oh, you went 2022?
Yeah, I went 2022.
Oh, okay.
When my former boss passed, I went to his funeral.
Oh, you went for the funeral. Oh, that was good. Okay, 2022 when Philip we said passed.
But I still need to make some.
You need the frequency is what.
Yeah, I need to make some periodic visits, and I'm working.
Yeah, but back to the point I was trying to push to you is that the Liberian diaspora particularly met with the election commission today, and part of their emphasis is to look into the future vis-a-vis the coming elections. Liberians outside of Liberia are pushing, particularly here in the US, in Canada, and Europe, all part of Europe, and it's in Australia and other things, and other part of Africa. I don't know if we got the logistics, but they've been pushing to see how Liberians can participate this time around in the electoral process come 2029. I don't know what your thought about that, but they engaged. We didn't have the whole fundings today, but they started that already. And most of we have the all Liberian conference thing that just happened here. The homecoming is also back in the country. There's going to be a lot of festive time with Liberians having good time. We have from outside of the country back home and doing some things. So what's your own take on those Liberians that are trying to push for every Liberian, according to them, that are outside the country to have a voice to participate?
before it was a little bit of a challenge because at that time the country did not have the dual citizenship law. Now that the country has a dual citizenship law, I think it would be a good thing for Liberians in the diaspora to be able to take part in the political process in their country. Mind you, while it is true that we are in the diaspora, we are contributing significantly to the economic viability of the country. On average, I think we remit over $700 million annually to the country, Liberians in the diaspora. So the mere fact that we are remitting this kind of huge sum of money, we need to be a part of the political process too. We cannot be disenfranchised because we are out of the country. In other countries, when elections are being held, the diasporas of those countries take part in the elections. And I know our democracy is embryonic stage. There will be a huge logistical challenge when it comes to how people can vote and how can those votes be counted. But I think it is a good thing that the diaspora brought the issue up, and I think that the government, through the National Elections Commission, needs to look at that and try to work out some modalities on how that can happen, especially for Liberians living in the United States. So I think it is a good thing. We can't still be disenfranchised, while at the same time we are supporting the local economy.
Okay. Okay. Quickly to this one, Robert. One would say, and that's the argument coming from all other angle of the debate, that looking at the logistic hurdles the country will always face. We're talking about Liberians scattered across, particularly the United States of America. Let's take America for example. Liberia scattered across America from the East Coast, the West, the Midwest, and all part of it, all part of the United States, if you will. Let's consider America first and consider other countries in Europe and Africa. Are we considering the logistic constraint that this is going to cost the country? First and foremost, how are we going to do that, and how are we supposed to do that logistically? Just for America, for instance, before we talk about Africa and other areas, is this possible? Is that a possible dream? You're muted.
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible when you put your mind to it. But you got to go beyond just putting your mind to it. You got to show consistency and a commitment. And so if we are committed, if the government is committed to ensuring that Liberians in the diaspora are full participants in the democratic process, then I believe that it is feasible. It can be done. The question is the government committed to it, Sylvester? And this is the difficult question. When I talk about commitment, I'm not just talking about the government telling us what we want to hear, what sounds good at a diaspora conference, and everybody's happy. I'm talking about the follow-up, actions that are being taken place. If you say that, and many people got mad at President Weah when he says Liberian would not be spectators in their own country, in their own economy. And it was on the ballot because people felt like foreigners still control the fabric of our private sector. Well, you can't say that and not ensure that the government has plans in place to ensure that Liberians are not spectators of their economy in their own country. And so the government will have to show its commitment to diaspora Liberians by leading this charge to ensure that we are participants in this process. Other than that, I don't think it's possible. And if I've been hearing this, Sylvester, I've been hearing this since they announced the project in FOIA. And the reason why this project was important was that Liberia is the oldest in the Mana River Union. And we're spending $6 point something million or whatever the amount is. Well, if we had this same level of what's the adjective? If we had this same level of pride that we are so old. Liberia is not just the oldest country in the Mana River Union, but Liberia is Africa's oldest independent country. So if we are so if we're so vexed, let me use the word vexed. If we are vexed that we should be hosting international meetings and peace accords at a 500 meeting space, 12 suites in Liberia, in the Mana River, in Lufa County. If this is a priority and we are committed to taking our place as the oldest in the Mana River Union, why can we not apply the same energy on everything else? We should be so vexed and say we are the oldest independent country in Africa, oldest independent, and so that means we should have running water. We are the oldest independent country. That means people should not be begging on the streets. We are the oldest independent country. That means our roads should be fixed. We are the oldest independent country, so that means our private sector should be functioning. We are the oldest independent country, so that means our education should be top notch. Imagine, Sylvester, if we had this kind of energy, right, with regards to serious issues that are affecting us as Africa's oldest independent country, then to your question is it's difficult, it's expensive, but it can be done. And again, I think the government can engage the diaspora. This country, we're in the age of technology, Sylvester. There are people in this country here that can do this thing here pro bono. When it comes to technology, you heard what's his name, Leo. He's in Canada and he's watching from his living room what's happening at the at his library in Liberia. We're Africa's oldest independent country, and the government does not have a public library of its own. So when we make these political and flimsy excuses to flex our muscles as to why we are doing unconstitutional things, as to why the government is not transparent with us, and we're flexing these muscles as an excuse, right? Why are we not flexing our muscles that we're Africa's oldest independent country? So thousands of diaspora Liberians should be able to vote, and we should be able to invest in this. I think it's possible. I think it's something that can be done. Is it going to be done? I don't think so, because I think there's a fear there that when Liberians in the diaspora are involved in the electoral process, I think that they understand you cannot just, our votes are not for sale. And if they are for sale, they're not cheap. We don't want a bag of rice because we can afford a bag of rice. We don't want a car because I can afford a car. What can you give me in return for my vote? Not everyone, because there's some very ballot-driven people in this country, Liberians in this country, that have not taken advantage of the opportunities here. They don't have good jobs. They don't get paid good money. They're struggling. There are people here that are really struggling. And so they will take any opportunity and go to Liberia and be and do the same nonsense. But the majority of people here who have done well for themselves, I think that they will change their trajectory. They will change the discussion when it comes to why should I vote for you? Can you do? The conversation will change. And then those individuals like Alex Cummings and others who have the ears of folks who are serious minded and who want serious changes will begin to focus on the serious issues, and the best candidate will win. And so a lot of politicians in Liberia, they're kind of afraid of that. But lastly, Sylvester, I want us to go beyond this voting thing, because we are not second class citizens. You know, Sylvester, we are and they said that natural born Liberian, I don't care what kind of passport you have, you cannot take away the citizenship of a natural born Liberian. You cannot do that. So I don't care what kind of passport we have. We are natural born, like our neighbors are buried in Liberia. So we have to participate beyond just voting. If I want to become a representative, I should become a representative. If I want to become a senator, I should become a senator. Without hiding where I'm from, who passport I get, because that's the biggest thing they use. Oh, they meant a U.S. citizen. They meant they didn't denounce the citizenship. This man didn't do that. They meant they didn't do that. Or this person didn't do that. So the conversation has to be a full conversation, and it has to be something that makes sense for our country in the 21st century. But yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Okay, yeah, because a lot of Liberians have been pushing on that, and I'm one of those that believe it should happen, but I don't think we're prepared in this era to have, because one of the hurdle we're going to face moving forward is going to be the logistic issues that will come along with all these things. There's going to be a lot of logistical constraints, and that the country may not just bear to raise the money, because just here in the U.S. Now, are we going to consider? Let's agree it's going to be possible. Are we going to say the U.S. there's going to be a conversion point where everybody's going to converge to vote? Now, if you live in Arizona, are you going to come out in Minnesota as another point where we have big concentration of Liberians, and the rest there should be maybe 3 other areas of those that somewhere can you find yourself places like Atlanta or somewhere on the East Coast, or if you will, to decide that, because I don't think there will be the plan to have ballot boxes in almost all of the states you have Liberians, because Liberians are across the country. They're gonna require some huge logistical burden for the electoral commission, if you will, and that's just going to be here in America. Then we're looking at Europe, Australia, Africa. So I mean, the engagement is a good thing to have Liberian everywhere in the world participate in the democracy of the country. That's very critical and important also.
But Sylvester, they can do they can start. We have to start somewhere. My idea is even legislatively. My idea is that you can use the most populated Liberian state. So you start with Minnesota, Philadelphia, Georgia. We have over 25,000 Liberians in the state. You can use the very populated state. Minnesota you can have Minnesota, Iowa, and what's the news? What's it? North Dakota. Since they're in the same area, same thing you can have with Philly, New York, and those areas. But when I talk about beyond voting, the idea that I was discussing too is Liberians can vote, participate, but the idea of of a Liberian, because the problem is, Sylvester, we don't have true representation on the ground. So how about having a representative that represent? You can have two representatives that represent the diaspora in the states, where Liberians have to first of all register to vote like everybody else. You have to register. You have to meet the deadlines. You have to meet whatever the requirements are, right? And we can have those representation in Congress, right? Where we have the representative of Liberian, maybe in the diaspora. It could be two representatives, and one senator. The representative of Liberian in Europe. We're in the 21st century. I think this is how you show that the diaspora Liberian is truly or are truly a part of the process in our country. And you'll see some serious changes being made, but all of these things cost money. And in order for us to do them, we have to prioritize. And this has been the issue in our country. We don't prioritize. We are wasting money on things that are trivial, that don't matter, and we're leaving the most important things undone. But I think it's possible, and I think that we should be allowed to vote in our country. Our Ghanaian counterparts, they're pushing the same narrative. Ghanaians are investing millions of dollars in Ghana. They're still not able to vote, but at least they can vote in Ghana. They're not voting in from the diaspora.
Yeah, but also Liberians, if you can go back when you will actually vote. Liberians here, we have most Liberian now currently. I can remember on my way back to do the last elections, because I was here during the voter registration to have the run back. I was on my way on the flight. I had almost when we hit Brussels, we had more than 100 Liberians that day on that flight. We all met in Brussels. We even created kind of a lay-by in Brussels. We started almost everybody was on their way to go and vote, to go register to vote rather. Again, yeah. So that's part of it. But I think we can start a conversation now. I don't think it's going to be possible this elections. Maybe when we Liberia start getting oil and the money start coming plenty, we can. When Mr. Sito is the CEO of the oil company, then it will start. They will start to put on. But there's some other critical things unfolding in the country, and we talked briefly yesterday. We talked some portion of the DEA about the head of DEA, what he stated about seizing or confiscating properties, if you will. But another critical thing he said, and we ought to be very, he said Liberia is a transit point for illicit drugs. And that's a critical thing he said. And if he would come out, because before people thought that Guinea-Bissau from the MRU basin, Liberia Savalion posture was Savalion, but now he is saying, and he's sending this caveat out that Mr. Sito, that Liberia is a transit hub for drugs. He said that. And it's troubling. If you were to move to some of his statements, he said, if I were to go to it, it's actually troubling as to what he said, you know. So it says the officer in charge, Fajera Baggio, has raised alarm that Liberia is increasingly being used as a transit point for illicit drugs.
Well, that is
Liberia been increasing there. So it's not. So the alarm rating is high, and it's troubling.
Well, it is troubling. That revelation is troubling. But I want to push back a little bit. How is Liberia the transit point? What is the data that they have that makes Liberia the transit point? What is the tracking mechanism they have to track drugs that are coming from? Because if you say transit point, that means to say the drugs is either coming from South America. Here's the thing. The drug is coming from South America. From South America, then it translates to Liberia and the west coast of Africa before coming to Europe and America. Now, if that is the case, do they have the data to tell us whether Liberia is a transit point? Because to be able to declare a country the transit point, you must have ample amount of information that tells you that this is happening. How are they tracking all of the goods that are coming to Liberia? Because the drugs are coming as goods, and are they being packaged and then taken out of the country? How? Since the DEA, since he became head of the DEA, how many drugs have they confiscated that came from out of the country and that came into the country? We need to see that. Yes, I know they want to combat the illicit drug trade, which is harming our people. That is a good thing. They need to fight it so that it can't keep coming into the country. But again, when you make this kind of revelation, you must have documents, you must have evidence, you must have the facts to support what you are saying.
Yes.
So my question is, how did he know that Liberia is a transit point?
Yes. So yes, what some is saying, Mr. Sito, because according to his statement, he said Liberia that we don't have any mechanism to produce any of these narcotic, right? He points that in the region, his belief is that the entire West African region, particularly the MRU basin, most of the drugs is coming through Sierra Leone to Liberia. So Liberia being used as those kind of countries. So traffickers are using the Sierra Leone side of the border to traffic drugs into the country. Because most of the drugs that are coming to Liberia.
How do they know? How do we know that?
Due to the porous nature of our borders. Due to the porous nature of our borders. His point is
in essence, he's making an assumption.
It will be one due to people So
because we know our borders are porous, but if you're making this kind of declaration, you must have a facts to back up your claim.
Because most of the drugs
that is the point I'm making. I'm not opposed to him fighting drugs.
No, I come in, Mr. Sito. So here's this point, and I do agree with that. Because most of the drugs traffic into the country, illicit drugs traffic into the country, most of them are coming through the Sierra Leone side, and most of the guys that are caught with drugs, basically is being through the Sierra Leonean line of the border. And I also agree with him that our borders are very porous.
No, we all know that. We all know the
Very, very
Liberian border is
And his
porous.
point is, and it's not only him saying that. Before, the U.S. government also said that Liberia was being used as a transit hub. He's not alone in saying this one. And they didn't give any other empirical record, but they said that. And that was true intelligence. And you can recall, during the Weah administration, they even bust almost $100 million situation. Unfortunately, I think we just heard something about it, and they helped us do that. So his point is that how can we now, as people, and that's why he called on everybody, how can we as people collectively come together to seize or stem this? It's a serious thing. And most of the drugs coming into the country, they're kush. It's not being manufactured in Liberia. Most of that is coming from Sierra Leone. How is it coming to the country? So that's the nature there. Robert.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing. It's kind of hilarious that Siton kept pushing back on to make that kind of declaration. Then you must have facts. And so how does he know? And I thought about what was on the campaign, Sylvester. You remember, these are the same guys, and I think it's worth saying. Can we mute? I think we get feedback. These were the same guy who told the Liberian people, and they said this with their chest out. They said, and I quote, CDC and George Weah were solely responsible for the spreading of Kuch in Liberia. They said CDC and George Weah brought Kuch in the country. So when we asked them how, where did you guys get this information from? Because we need to know. How do you accuse the president of Liberia of bringing Kuch into the country? People believe that because we have a very gullible society. People believe that. But we now know that those were bogus and intentional lies told to make the CDC and George Weah look bad. And unfortunately, they didn't push back on it the way they were supposed to push back on it. Because if George Weah and CDC were bringing Kuch in the country, George Weah and CDC have left. Why is Liberia now the transit point for illicit drugs? If the people that were responsible for drugs in the country have gone, have left, you would think that they no longer have the power, they no longer have the connections to have these drugs in the country. You now have a new government who is fighting against drugs, the drug epidemic. So why has it not gotten better? Why don't we see the needle move a little bit? And so it is serious that he says that. But I think to Mr. Sentence point, if they have the data or the information, however they collect them, I think it's important that we know these things. Everything cannot just be in its perk of a moment. You can't just speak, you can't just sit out loud these things and you don't expect people to ask questions. If you say that Liberia is a transit point of drugs, explain what does that mean, right? Not everybody understand what porous means, right? So explain that, break it down to the layman, so let people understand what that looks like and specifically where the drugs are coming from. But even if you have the data to show that, you still have to put in the work to fix that. If we need to strengthen our borders so that things are not easily slip through and come into the country, then let's invest in that. Let's budget for that, Sylvester. That's how you fix the situation. Don't just know the problem, implement plans and invest in plans to mitigate, to remedy the situation. But we don't do that. And so this whole Ebola issue is not new. It's not just Ebola, Sylvester. Have you not been going home from the clubs and you go to a checkpoint and this guy see you in a nice car, window tinted, and the first thing to do is put the window down, boss man, what are you drinking? They don't care who's in the back car. They don't care what's going on. As long as you give them
nothing they come for the officers.
Nothing they come for the officers. And you can have a dead body in the back car as long as you take care of them. That's fine. So imagine people trafficking. Imagine drug dealers in Monrovia. I'm not talking about the borders. Imagine if you're not strengthening these areas. Don't tell us the issue. You know the issue. We know the issues in Liberia. Our problem is we are not committed to fixing them because we are not committed to investing in those issues. Simple, that's that. That's just that. That's just that. But 2029 will be very interesting because I would believe that the opposition would have put together an argument to really buttress and push this narrative that this administration misled you. And that's what, if that's what politics is about, fine. But this administration misled folks on a lot of things about CDC and George Weah. And today, 2 years going into the administration, we're seeing these things either worsen or they are where they left them.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. ANC Seleke, welcome. It's a support need and I'm you. So yeah, before you come in quickly, I don't know if you followed the show today, but if you didn't follow, you just came in. I will give you the opportunity to give you maybe 2 to 3 minutes, at least maximum 3 minutes. So you can, I don't know if you follow the president today, I think it'll be fair enough to get the ANC perspective on what you all believe as an individual. No problem. I know that's a political lineage, but how did you? How can you critique the president address to the nation today? The media interaction with the media today. That's some critical thing he said that I had some issue about him being. I said he was completely disoriented to certain major national issues. He didn't know about the project that we've been criticizing heavily, talking about in FOIA. He said he don't have no message to take to the people across the country. What's your say, basically, vis-a-vis relative to the president, tete-a-tete today with the media?
Look, greetings everybody. Today's a great day for me, and as the closing argument, it's always good to be here. But I just wanted to share this. It's a personal stuff, but I just wanted to share it with all of you here. Some part of this year, there's an organization in the U.S. I will come to your question, Sylvester.
Go ahead.
Called the National Geographic Group. So what they do, they partner with university students from all around the world to identify conservation problem in your home country, to make a research about it, and submit a findings and recommendation. And after you've done that, they open up an opportunity where you can be able to apply for seed fundings to be able to implement whatsoever problem you've identified in your country. So I participated in that program early this year, applied for the seed funding, got rejected. And later this year again, there was an opportunity for the marine conservation. And I did apply for that, submitted, and now I apply for the seed funding. Just this evening, I got an email that I was awarded $2,000 seed fundings to implement my project in Grand Bassa County. So what that means, early next year, I'll be receiving that funds. So it's a great,
I won't be consulting. I won't be media consultant to that project.
So I'll be working with young Liberians in Grand Bassa. For me, this is not so much about the money, but the fact that the recognition and the trust for somebody to give you $2,000. And so that's why I'm going to be, and I'm saying here publicly, to be working with young Liberians, so that we can make sure and do what what I propose, or the projects that I send, to the National Geographic Group. So this is a great achievement for me, and I'm really, really proud. Being in Liberia, to be honest, Sylvester, I wouldn't come across this kind of opportunity. But again, I want to say thank you to all my supporters. The closing argument team, everybody who have one way or the other make an impact, in shaping, who I am today. I'm really, really grateful to everyone, especially to my ANC family. I just wanted to say that. But
Before you can go to the question quickly, let me quickly say on behalf of the platform also, that's it's a great news. It's not the issue of the cash, it's the issue that borders
right.
on the trust. That
Yeah.
they see you as a reputable person, that you are trustworthy, that
Yeah.
the group can believe in your tenacity to get some job done. So it's good. It's an accolade that has been won to that the platform will share also and other things. So we want to say congratulations to you. You can go ahead. Thank you.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for your kind words, Sylvester. Again, today I actually watched the president interview, but what actually caught my attention, I did, share my view when the interview was going on. Number one, I saw huge members of the government officials, you know, going to escort the president to just be in the studio. I don't know, they were trying to intimidate. Hello?
They probably gotta make a beer run up a bit, man.
You getting me now? You're getting me?
Yeah, we get it. Go ahead. We saw the puppet. Oh, but go ahead from where you start. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, what I saw, I saw a lot of them. Charelime Pia, Eugene Facon, for Facon, that a working place there. Kula Fofana, even or assistant minister to the executive mansion, all of them, they went there. And then while doing a chit chat before the interview, Facon started lying to the president and he started laughing. This is where my attention, he started telling the president we have a very big studio, just at the way CNN and BBC can be really, and surprisingly, Sylvester, when the president went to do the interview, bulk of the listening audience are complaining that they're not getting the president. They still know what you say, looking at CNN and BBC. But the microphone get issue. The people gave me hear I don't know that the president voice, he was speaking a low tone or the microphone, but that was the first red flag today. Secondly, which everybody is talking about. This 10 million US dollar villa in Lofa. Everybody been talking about this for many months. And what this shows today, Sylvester, and the rest of the, listening audience today, it just validates what Costa told us a few months ago. You remember when Costa came on live, when he went to Spoon, he said Joe Barker did not know about the Lofa project. It was Sylvester Pewee who wanted to impress the president. And he went and constructed that project because they were scared to tell Joe Barker. And this is Costa voice. That when they were going to tell him, he was going to resist. And this is the same word Joe Barker repeated today. That they had it from me because most of them know I was resisted when they were going to tell me about the project specifically being built in Lofa County. So just validating Costa. So everything Costa say about Joe Barker in terms of gossiping a cabinet ministers to Costa, he validated that argument today. And like people who can listen, so now we got to forget. But for me, that was my main takeaway today. At the end of the day, my question now to the president, your people have on you. They initiated a project in Lufa that you was going to resist when you're going to be in a no.
What did he do?
You got to know about it. What did he do?
That's a question. What did you do?
Huh? What did he do? And this is where we continue to tell the Liberian people that this man is old. He's not capable to lead a country. We told them during the election time, they say, oh, especially Costa. Costa say, oh, the presidency is not a job that people can go and take black and put it on our head. But these are some of the things we're talking about. You told us publicly today that when you're going to know about that project before it started,
you're going to stop it.
Resist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now you got to know now how many people were fired from the government.
Nobody.
And another issue again, Sylvester. This scenario or this kind of dramatic act, President Barker always showing up whenever he's opportune to engage with the media, to always, like people we respect old people. And because Joe Barker is an old man, whenever he's speaking, in a kind of soft tone, a lot of people tend to fall for it. But it's very deceptive. 2 years, You are given
And
6
is
years
this the call
mandate.
that's linked to your
You've gone.
partner's
Sit down,
first
please mute. Please
federal-
mute. Sit down.
So Joe Biden was given 6 years mandate. You've already almost 2 years now in office. But you on the interview today, compare Joe Biden today's message to that of his campaign message. Not a single thing Joe Biden could commit to doing today before the end of his 6 years. All he's telling the Liberian people, they should give him time. You give me time. You give me time. Okay, the people say, okay, from now to the 6 years, to the end of the 6 years, what can you assure us that you will do, that you'll be remembered for? I just want to get the country on stage, for the young generation. So nothing specific this old man was able to tell us. So this is very, and this is what they will continue to do. If anybody will listen to Joe Biden today, you will know, don't expect anything from this old man. Because Liberia was not, it was not a complete dead state as compared to 2005. So that narrative, one they can be selling around, not a sedition, to say, oh, the country was actually broken when it took office. It's a lie.
Absolutely, it was not broken.
It's a complete lie.
It was not.
So you don't come and tell us, oh, we've been fighting to restore Charles, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So we try now to put a country on stage where people can be able to take from us and go. And he could not. And lastly, before I conclude, to even say to us that his vice president Jeremiah Kun is a businessman and Jeremiah Kun guiding him how to run the country in terms of the business climate, that was the most funny joke today I hear on our radio. Jeremiah Kun, so at the end of the day, Sylvester, for me, what it clearly showed to us today is Joe Biden indecisiveness in terms of taking key decisions. And with 2 years in office, they're not able to tell us what they've been able to, what they have done to make a difference since they took office 2024. And furthermore, what they will do at the end of that 6 years, none of those questions were answered today. And he come up and talk about, people need to be given due process in terms of when they're accused of corruption and all of that. But again, it was a good engagement, but it further exposed a lot of things today. And because of sentiment and political affiliation, a lot of Liberians will not recognize it. But that is my take today in our interview. Thank you.
Fair enough. I thought that these were strong observations and all of things, and these observations are very, very important. Also, you're right about that. If the Fagon was whispering to the president today that the studio is more than CNN studio, more than BBC, more than the CNN headquarters in Atlanta that I visited before. It's more than that. He said,
too much of deception. Too much of deception.
If you went to Atlanta studio, you will condemn it. You see in Atlanta studio, you will condemn it, other thing, and then.
And mind you, he hasn't been to the studio.
He nothing whatsoever. I know that for a fact. He was just grandstanding and all those things you're trying to do there. But then, unfortunately, the microphone, the audio coming out of the president first 5 minutes was very, very poor and all those things. And these are some great observation to Seleke just pointed out, right? If you are the president coming up to say, and that was my point today when we started the show, when I listened to that, you didn't know about this thing. Yeah, granted that you didn't know about this thing, that should be sufficient reason why people should be punished.
Of course.
But deceiving the presidency is a sacred institution. An attempt to deceive the president, there should be consequence. I think we will be lacking off in 16 minutes. It's about 7:44. I don't know if some of the line of the president stating clearly that he waiting to see what's going to happen, but this is going to be a very big debate, and in year 2, and because the guys, Robert and Sita, the guys, they were very loud in terms of engaging in different sort of propaganda against the Weah administration. They went to the spread. Some of those were deliberate. Some of those things were deliberate, and there's this adage that said that if lies are told for back-to-back long time and there's no rebuttal, people will move to believe them. And I thought most of those negative propaganda, particularly the 16 billion, there were no 16 billion stolen from the government. The Weah government didn't steal any 16 billion. They were all myth. They were myth. There were misrepresentation of the facts at the time, but again, they succeeded in going to spread out propaganda.
So you have to blame the Weah
There were no,
administration.
yeah, in some cases you will
Yeah,
blame them.
you have to blame
Not
them.
standing up.
And I said it, I think I said it yesterday. President Weah naturally has a disdain for the media.
I wouldn't want to call it disdain for the media.
Because look, you
know, not wanting to talk to the media does not mean you consider them in a disdain manner.
Well,
disdain, it would be a harsh word. Probably he didn't like the media. He's not media savvy.
Maybe I
He's
will
not
take it
media
back.
savvy person.
Maybe I will take it back, but I think that President Weah does not have a favorable view of the media.
Not favorable. Yeah, I would not take that. Favorable would not be the way.
No.
Favorable would not be the way. Just say
maybe it wasn't his stronghold.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't his strong suit.
He said he's not.
Well, you know, I will water it down.
His problem was and is until it can change is that he's not always comfortable to engage with the media. If he said I would agree with you, but he respect the media, consider them respecting other things. Probably his line is just different. And they succeeded in doing that. They succeeded also in blaming before the elections, linking Kush to President Weah. Imagine that. Today, the acting head of the institution saying that the country is loose. The country is a hub. The country is a transit point. Honor the rescue government that propagated all of the
again, it goes back to my previous argument that I made with respect to President Weah and the media. My friend, former information minister, Lejo Rini, when he was information minister, he kept telling the government, communication is not cheap. You want to propagate your views, you want your views to be heard, you want your views to be known, you have to pay for it.
But he is one of those information ministers that were very, very much off the touch. He was not engaging.
Yeah, because
he didn't engage as
he was not. No, yes, and I think he had a press conference. He said it. You look, my man. We were in Liberia when President Taylor was president, in spite of everything that he did, right? When it comes to media engagement, President Taylor administration was up to that task.
Oh yeah, I can remember.
So as a result of that, everything President Taylor did, whether it was good or bad, they pushed their own line of the narrative, and that's what the government has not been doing.
But you're sleeping. I mean, I keep saying this. Charles Taylor was able to do something that I haven't seen a lot of people do. You're talking about information minister. Look at the man foreign minister. Look at the kind of thing Money Captain had to do during Taylor regime. Money Captain was an international. It almost seemed like outside of Monrovia, he was the president of Liberia. He spoke. I saw this man do interviews that I don't even see our foreign ministers do today on some of the biggest international platforms. CNN. I remember one interview he was doing with I'm not sure who was the on MSNBC, and they were asking him, how do you sleep at night working for this guy Charles Taylor, working for this dictator? And he said in a very diplomatic way, you wouldn't even tell the man's from Liberia when he was speaking, Siton. And I just admired that. He understood the international media. He understood the international media. He said, now you were in this country. You're a very experienced guy. And to ask me that question, I think exposes your experience. I don't work necessarily for the man you choose to describe the way you describe. I work for the Liberian people, and so my presence here at the United Nations is in representation of Liberian people. We are in a democratic country. Charles Taylor was Democrat. I mean, you could hear this man speaking. He was very fluent, very fluent with at the UN. So Charles Taylor was able to put under very unique circumstances, was really able to recruit some brilliant guys. I mean, I don't support the guy. I think he belongs where he belongs. I think he was bad for our country. But imagine if we had that kind of. I mean, he was able to put some guys together who knew exactly what they were doing. It was just under difficult circumstances.
Yeah, yeah. Peabody, you just joined us. I hope the Christmas, the Christmas party, your Garguah and other thing, the Christmas party went well and other thing. But welcome to the show. We'll be closing up in
10
probably
minutes.
10 minutes. You muted, Chief. For holding it down, guys. Good to see Sylvester. Good to see Robert and Jackson Seaton, my own Atlanta boy. I just wanted to join you guys for the next 5 or 10 minutes. I just came from my son's Christmas play, my 2 boys, so I had to be there in full and stuff like that. So, but I've been following the conversation on my way home. We just got back. We're talking about the media and all of that. I think I want to just contribute. Let me say thank you so much to the guys. We still need like $600. We are at $1,400 now, which is very good. You guys did wonderful in giving, everybody who gave. So if you still want to, our goal is by Monday to get it into my roof. I have planned to send it tomorrow, but maybe Monday. The latest will be Tuesday, so everybody will be able to get a share of some of the money that we have raised. Put it in our chat room, but we are at about pretty much around $1,500 right now, $1,400 to $1,500 right now. So that's very significant. We need $500. Some people promised to send today. I think they forgot, but again, Sylvester, I listened to the president press conference today, and I think it was just a charade. The president went up there, say he doesn't listen to.
He got it.
His own Liberian radio station. He said he doesn't listen to it. They asked him what he listen to. He said I listen to BBC and Ear There.
And they let him say that. They let him say that.
So that shows that he's out of touch.
Yeah, he's totally out of touch. Because how can the president be in the country, the Liberia National Radio? Okay, Liberia Broadcasting System, you say you don't listen to it at all. One thing that struck me again, they asked the president, said there's a lot of Burkinabes in Grand Gita. There are many. There's a lot going on there. And all. I mean, the president saying that the Burkinabes can work. He said they're hard working.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me you bringing people coming in the country, thousands coming, foreigners coming in. They're coming over there. They're doing jobs. Liberians don't have jobs. And you are saying they're hard-working people and stuff like that. And they said something was happening there. He didn't say what was happening there, but they had to send soldiers there that these people then were going into some of the reserve for Liberia and digging gold and diamond. And you say these people are hard-working people? There's one other question I want to touch on. Somebody had asked a question about reconciliation. What was he doing to reach out to President Weah? I was disappointed in the journalist, the guy who was taking the call. He shut the man off. He just cut the man off from that phone conversation. I think that was very deliberate. That was totally unacceptable for somebody to do that, because I would have loved to hear President Puaka respond. But you saw that they just picked a handful of people who were very close to the government, and that way they say he's having press conference. When Taylor then were having the press, Jackson, you are a journalist in Liberia. When Taylor then were having press conference, all the different media come out and line up from different media institutions. They stand up there. Even when Doe was president, they come up and line up. Even President Salif, they will line up and ask various questions. This was just a charade. This was just something to just make the people go walk up boss small and say he come to talk to the country and things like that. Saying he told all that the first time, you want to tell me, is that what you call a major press conference? Is that a press conference? How many international journalists was there to ask questions? So the thing is, these guys are just joking, This the man we beat on George Weah. We said George Weah no one want to talk to the press. George Weah hid himself in the press. Then the other group come out who are blaming him for doing that. During the same 06 and 9, nothing is subtracted from what they're doing right now. So then who really knows, who really understand what's going on? I think today's press conference, I I mean, you're talking about you're not. How can the president of Liberia say the people did a thing behind you and they didn't tell him they did it?
Yeah.
You say if I had known, I'm
Yeah.
going to cut it off. So
Yeah.
they did it behind me.
And you hold nobody accountable.
Nobody accountable. And the president is brave to stand there and say it. Like any serious thing there. Nobody's held accountable.
Wow.
That one hair should roll. They came out the billing multi-million-dollar place. You said that government billing it for peace. What kind of peace conference center are you billing when your hospital don't even have medication? Your teachers or others have not taken pay. Healthcare workers are some of the lowest paid in the country. Why not build a major health center? Why not go back and rebuild JFK and other places? They say you're building a peace center. Is that why
they don't even have a Durham? The government don't even have a public library of its own.
No.
There you go. The whole country. And that issue has been plaguing this country for long. I remember when I was in high school, to use the library, we had to go to USRS library. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
A whole country, republic. We call ourselves republic. And nothing has been done to ensure that the country have its own national library, where all of our archives can be, all of our documentation can be kept for people to do research on Liberia. But nobody is thinking about that.
You think they would have had people like us in our room? You don't have press conference, that kind of thing, that how you get a serious press conference there? They're close up.
So I mean, you guys said it all. I mean, before we go back to the weather, I know we're closing, but can you imagine you guys talking about we don't have a library? The entire country got, I think, 4 or 5 fire trucks. Then you see building National Peace Center, thing like killing people every day in that country. Fire. All right, I'll stop there, guys. I just want to.
No, but it was good that you came on, guys. We'll take 1 minute each to wrap up. It's 3 minutes to the times. As Fagong can say, one at CNN, and we say the time.
But let me wrap up. Let me take my 1 minute. But always a great show. But we gotta get serious about our country. There's nothing wrong with having people around who have different opinions, who ask the tough questions, who are critical thinkers. It helps us be better, and it helps us do better. And I just want to again tell the Liberian people: don't believe the hype. Don't believe all of these excuses. There's nothing of any magnitude of security implications that your government will refuse to be transparent to you. The biggest military business around the world are public records. When military businesses are built in this country, the public are aware through the public and legislative processes. Okay, and these things are associated with the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA. It's taxpayer money. It's public. Making people aware is different from going into detail of what is being built. Just being transparent. If this government were transparent and they wanted us to know what was happening, they would have said the government has an intention to build this project, and here is the purpose for this project. We can't go further in detail, but just so you know, we're going through all of the constitutional and legal processes when it comes to procurement. All of these things. They will not build it in secret and say security. What security are you talking about? But they want you to believe that because they understand that they can play with your intelligence. But that's why we are here. We're here to dissect these things. We're here to counter these things. We're here to ask the tough questions. And our people, you have to listen. You have to listen. This I think the president shot himself in the foot today. I think he also shot the folks who control his dissemination information. I think he shot them in the legs because they have different excuses as to what this project was about. And I think it shows that this government on many levels cannot be trusted, because if you cannot be transparent, and lastly, if you have a security project that you're building, why are you even accepting, and why are you even brave to tell the Liberian people that you have foreign folks that are making contribution or security implicated project should not be people should from foreign should not be just making individual contribution like that, and we don't know who these individuals are. They could be drug dealers for all we care. How do we know them? But great show, Sylvester, great moderation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mrs.
yeah. Let me go next. Yeah. Thank you, Sylvester. I think we had a wonderful show. We discussed some of those trending issues that are affecting our country. I think the president having a tete-a-tete with the press today, well,
What's the
that's
word?
a
You as a president, you just seen word. You said tete-a-tete? What's that?
yeah, tete-a-tete.
That's a journalistic word or what?
Yeah, it's a journalistic word.
Yeah.
It's a tete-a-tete. I mean, you're having an interaction with the press.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
chit-chatting.
Yeah, chit-chatting. Yeah, so
Okay.
he had a tete-a-tete. That's a good sign. But I think he failed to adequately explain to the Liberian
It's a French
people.
word, tete-a-tete.
Yeah, he
Lacking
failed
on
to
the- yeah.
adequately explain to the Liberian people what his government is doing to improve the lives of the people. He also he failed miserably when he addressed the issue of that complex that is being built in Foya. I think that complex should have been made known to the Liberian people. He shouldn't have waited. And as I stated previously, it creates a lot of room for speculations. And there are so many things that are happening in the back door in Liberia that when they come to light, and then the government try to explain it, yet and stay, it is unexplainable. So again, we have to continue to hold the government feet to the fire. By us holding the government feet to the fire, that does not necessarily mean that we are against the government. We want the government to live up to its campaign promises. That's what we want. You said when you were when you were running to be president, or you are running for the leadership of the country, you said you are going to do X, Y, Z. We want to see you doing X, Y, Z. We don't want you to be doing something else. You say you do X, Y, Z, then you start doing C. The government has to be transparent in its interaction and in its deliberation with the Liberian people. And all of these things are not happening in the country. And because those things are not happening, the president is out of touch. So he cannot go to the leeward counties to even explain to the people what his government is doing to improve their lives. Nothing, because he has no message. Right? He's doing nothing. And you understand? Everything is just a charade.
Yep.
And, but we'll continue to hold him. We'll continue to talk about these things because come 2029, we will need a new wave. A new wave, whether it is the tail link or the New Deal, however you may call it. But we need a new wave. We need a new political dispensation because the UP and the CDC ran our country for the last 20 years and nothing has changed.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Peabody.
Look, man, Sylvester, you guys, thank you for holding it down. I know Nagbe here earlier, he had to leave, and Myean the rest. But look, I don't know. You bringing the president up for interview, you didn't even prepare him. You didn't prep the president. You bring him and he just saying things that are totally. So it means that the government is not accountable to anybody. If you can sit down and somebody building multi-million-dollar something in your home and you say they didn't tell you the way and did it, and you didn't even check anybody, then it means that you're not in control or you don't have control of it. But again, this is where we find ourselves. And apparently he stands to run again on 2029. He definitely going to run 2029. And that's what Liberia want, But again, nothing have changed, to be honest. Nothing have really changed in that government. What we saw today was praise sinking, somebody asking happy question to the president to make him smile. Oh, what you do for fun? You do this, you do that. That gonna open up there, know that somebody who would stay or late or do anything.
But did you peep his watch? You saw you peeped the gold. You peeped the gold watch.
Yeah, but I think it was just fun today, and what we heard, you talk about education, but you can't spend money on education. Look at the University of Liberia. Look at that old building that been there that they can't repay. That thing, how disgraceful it can be. And then they had a conference there. The African Women Lawyer Association was there. And then the Minister of Justice were addressing them in that kind of place. I mean,
dilapidated
they don't
structure.
have any shame. I'm telling you, the country doesn't have any shame. But other than that, always again, it's a very great show tonight. The closing argument, and our team, the guys been doing wonderful broadcasting from one end of Monrovia. You know, every time you wake up, you see closing argument. I think they've been doing wonderful. Sylvester, excellent moderating, man. You did excellent tonight, and look forward to come back on Monday, man. Look forward to
you saw the puppet watch?
Oh, man.
But you know, the puppet taking most of the things are custom there now. Got most of the things puppets. When they got online, but you see a pair Caddy shoe, the recent pair Caddy, most of those.
Wow.
One pair of those.
Pierre Cardin.
Yeah, Pierre Cardin.
Wow.
Remember, the man's the president of Lava, you can't take it from him.
Yeah, but Chancellor said this before. He said that really love to see the leader look very great. Very great. Very great. One of the most flamboyant Liberian.
Yeah, very flamboyant.
Very charismatic and flamboyant. So he was. Yep. So basically that's in line. So anyway, guys, we look forward to seeing the country democracy force, you know, but I think the Unity Party we have a lot more to see. The way the president performed today was very dismal.
Very dismal.
Very dismal.
Hold on, before we leave, I'm looking at this quote. Somebody said the president said that President Weah is going to come back in 2029 because he's popular and he's globally connected.
I never heard that though.
No, maybe
I think it's trending though. I'm looking on Facebook.
Maybe he said it.
I said for 2029 Weah will come back. He's loved, popular, and globally connected. Says President Bouaka, and this is Gibson Jerry who posted dates, and I think this is a direct quote.
I mean, these guys can
if we are coming back on a serious note, it's not issue that we.
It's not an issue.
Yes, what the first and foremost thing here is that this president is not performing well, and this president amplified that today. He reminded us about that today, that he's not performing. He don't have no message to go to the counties. He's saying that he's the president, but anybody can do anything and they will go with anything. Guys, good night.
And this statement here, if it is true, then it means to say that they are jittering.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on a serious.
The man said nobody doing. If I know, I want to stop it.
I want to stop it.
Do you know the reason why Article 50 of the Constitution is so elaborate? It said the executive power shall be vested in the president, who shall be the president, head of state, commander-in-chief of the armed forces. There's a reason why Article 50 said that. The powers of the presidency is very powerful. In my political science course, I'm learning political science, there's a course called Liberian Government and Politics. That course is telling you how powerful the presidency is. So to be the president, and you said that I didn't know about this thing. Now that you know, what did you do? So come on.
Nothing.
They did not tell me, because if they had told me, I would have stopped it. Okay, they didn't tell you the building.
Now you know what you do. And that particular action of the president today is tantamount to deliberately and intentionally abrogating the Constitution. And any attempt to abrogate the Constitution is against the law of our country. You should be. So I mean, it's wrong, guys. So I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but
nothing going to change next week. If this year is ending this way, now we're going to listen to most of the rhetoric from the president. They're going to be arrested.
Yeah, the spinners will start spinning the beginning Monday.
The state of the nation, leave that. The state of the nation is coming to get out. That's something they're saying. Oh, they did their agenda. There will be a recitation. It will be a complete
recitation
coming up for the state of the nation. Then we will move on. We'll get into January, the end of January, we'll get into February, we'll start doing the whole thing. Then the next December, probably we'll manage to bring him again. He will say, oh, I tried. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just
good night, man. Good night.
Yeah,
good night, and we'll see you on Monday.
Hopefully. Monday, guys. Thank you, man. Thank you for holding it. Mr. Gilman, hold it down in Liberia, man. I hope you're having a good time there.
Yeah, he landed already?
He probably landed by now. He left yesterday.
So he landed. So he should be there.
He probably landed already.
Yeah, maybe he getting the VIP treatment from Mama. Okay, man. Good night to you.
All right, brother. Hold it down. Okay.
but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisans' word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men, what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.,
No secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political Ben in it or not?
Oh, but you political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay. When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes to countries, because many times you notice that.
If Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the Boyka's administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. To arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital road, small, road, B road, all kinds of place. I think the reason Joseph Baka will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.